Yo. What's happening? Morning to some of ye. How will go on to the rest? Look at people just show up immediately and say, "You're the best." That's the kind of affirmation I need in my day. Without doing a damn thing, I just need someone to be there and say, "You're the best." How's everyone doing? So many like first time chat things. It can't be that many people's first time chatting. Did my settings reset or something? I don't know. Oh guys, hype train is closed. Choo choo! Everybody on board. Get your tickets to the hype train. Jack, you copied my tattoo. I got it same day, same place. No, I am the YouTuber. I have more followers than you, which means that it's mine. I have more people on the internet that I can gaslight into saying that I did it first, and you have nothing. So that means it's mine. Don't you know how this works? It's like that kid in class that says your joke louder than you did. So that means it's their joke. You're not allowed to have it anymore. And you can feel bad about it all you want. But whoever does something the biggest means that it's theirs. Look, I've had plenty of things that I've done in the past be overwritten by larger YouTubers. It's how it works. It happens to all of us. You lost your privileges on it. So sorry. Hands are so hairy? Yes, I have hairy hands. That's it. I'm a hairy guy. I have hairy hands, I have a hairy chest, I have a hairy arse. That's it. The mark of an Irishman. A wolf out in the meadow. I remember growing up and I would watch movies and every guy in every movie I watched had a bald arse and I was like, why don't they have a hairy arse like I do? And my brothers. Am I a freak? And then Robin Williams showed up and I was like, thank you. For Robin. His presence is felt, his presence being gone is felt every single day. But what a hero. Ayo, proof? Hey, you know, maybe if I ever make an OnlyFans, you know? You can see me caked up on a Tuesday. So just any fellow arse hairers out there, just know you're not alone. Your Ragnarok series is awesome. Thank you. I'm very proud of that one. It was very fun to make. You mean his absence? Yes. Sorry, look. A reason that I'm streaming is because I just got back from LA and I am tired as all hell, but I need to beat jet lag. And if I sit around like I was doing in that room right behind this wall, if I sit around watching TV or playing games or something, I will fall asleep and I need to power through until like 6 hours from now. So whatever gets me through it. And sitting here and being yelled at by people on the internet is a good way of doing it. Apparently Chandler has a surprisingly hairy ass, so representation. Yeah, but it never showed it, Robin. Never showed it. Doesn't count. Now, Father Ted also never showed it, but there's a man who apparently has a fluffy bottom. But I also just wanted to hang out. It's been a while. And I also had a lot of things to talk about since I came back from the trip because a lot of stuff happened. So I thought, let's just sit around and chat. No, not a 6 hour stream. Just 6 hours until I should go to bed. and then, or at least make it to like 10 p.m., you know? If I can make it that far, then it's like, okay, now if you sleep, you're kind of resetting your day. It's always fine going to America. Moment, good beans. It's always fine going to America. Going west is easy because I just sleep on the flight, make it through that day, boom. Jet lag is fixed. And then going back, because you lose the day. You fly on the 14th and you land on the 15th. It's the weirdest thing. And then you make it through all of that day, and then the next day you're more tired than normal because, I don't know, I was in LA for a week, so I got used to it. Time traveler, exactly. Except you're only going forward, so all you're doing is losing shit. I've lost probably like a week of my life just traveling. And that's concerning. You find it more difficult the other way around? You're the only person I've heard that has it hard the other way around. Remember years ago when I used to be, oh, speed is key, sleep is for the weak. No, sleep is for people who want to live longer. If you don't sleep, you will die at a younger age. And I'm not saying that to be Mr. Funny Irishman. I'm saying that as a legitimate fact. Also, I didn't even change my stream title before I went live. That's how you know I haven't done anything. I literally sat down and just hit the button. Hold on. Changing. It says, let's talk about Iris. We already did that. I'm just changing it to tired. So anybody who got the notification that says that I'm streaming Iris, go back. The VOD is still up. Go back. I mean, we could talk about Iris again. All I would do is say the same things. Oh! There is something to talk about, though, is that MatPat made a video on it. Which I knew was coming, because they did a stream where on GT Live where they were talking about Iris and talking about stuff that was going to upcome, and they said that they had a video in the works, and then it finally came out. It came out last week? This day last week, actually. It's been out for an entire week. It came out today's Friday. It came out on Saturday. I thought, yeah. Did it come out the same day as Thankmas? Again, I am incredibly tired. So I'm drinking coffee at this hour. But it was a good video. It's on their film theory page. Go watch it there. I already watched some of it. I didn't watch the entire thing because I was thinking maybe we'll watch it on a stream. Not this stream, because I feel like I need to have more brain to talk about it and to go through it all. But either way, I'm gonna neither confirm nor deny anything that's in it, because why would I? That would just ruin the fun. Imagine if somebody, back when they were watching Lost, and somebody was like, hey, this is what's happening, and then the writers were like, yep. And then all things went out the window. Or they were like, no, and then everyone's like, oh, well, that ruins that whole thing. There's 2 parts? Is there? They did the GT Live thing where they talked about going to do the theory, and they reacted to Iris, which, thank God that, his name is blanking me now. I remembered it at the time. The guy who was filling Matt and the other guy in all the time about the lore. He was the guy in the middle on the GT live stream. Come on, chat. Come on, chat. Come on, chat. I need a name. I'm just gonna say Patrick. No, his name was Tom. Close. Close. When you think about it, Tom and Patrick share a wall in like a bathroom stall. Like, that wall is thin, but they share it. Good old Patrick. No, Tom was his name. I feel bad now because he really did his homework on it. Sorry, Tom. It's really, yeah, it is a nickname for Tom when you think about it, Robin. Patrick and Tom, it's like Jack and Sean and John, where you all share a bed. It's a sleepover between all of us. We're just having a slumber party. Tom was there and he explained a lot of the Iris and ego stuff to Matt, which was great because MatPat seemed to not have a clue about most of it, which is fair. I mean, he didn't write the theory, he just did the voiceover for it and got informed about it afterwards. So he was there to learn about Iris and about the egos, and he was familiar with the fact that I have done stuff before and some of the characters he was versed in, like Jacksepticeye and Chase and all that kind of stuff. But he hadn't kept up on the day-to-day logistics of everything that was going on in the egos, which I feel like is fair. I've been doing it since 2016, and a lot of it has been done very subtly in a lot of different videos. And he's busy. As a YouTuber myself, knowing how many things I have to do all the time, I can't keep up with other people's stuff. So it's up to somebody else to kind of fill him in. And I'm glad Tom was there, and Tom clearly seemed to have watched the Iris stream that I did previously here, because a lot of the stuff that I'd said in that he regurgitated for them to kind of figure out, and the influences and the references and that kind of stuff. So shout out Tom. What up? What a G. Sorry, this isn't gang signs, I promise. But that was fun. The theory was fun. Maybe I'll do a stream at some point where I sit down and we'll all watch it together and have fun. Love the long hair. Thank you. I grew it myself. Yeah, also happened, I'll talk about Thankmas in a minute because that's clearly the biggest thing that we did. But I announced yesterday, because it came out yesterday, that I'm in the new Sonic animated show on Netflix. Which, again, I should be way more excited saying that. But I'm very tired. Look, it's a really, really cool thing. And it's also bizarre because I did the voice ages ago. I remember people on Luna's here, on Spicy News, I mentioned that I was doing a voice thing that I couldn't announce yet. And I had already done it months before that. But that was the thing. I did it in a video. I mentioned that I had a voice thing that was coming out, but I also mentioned it on the Thankmas stream that I had a voice thing that was coming out that I couldn't talk about either, because Sonic is a big deal. To be allowed to be in a Sonic thing is huge. Because I did Irish the Hedgehog as a joke. I knew the guy that ran the Twitter back then, Aaron, and he was so wonderful and so nice, and I met him and Katie. Katie still works for Sonic, who we got to see at the Game Awards as well. That's also something we have to talk about. But they were so wonderful to me all the time and invited me to like the Sonic premiere in LA for the first movie. And they've always just been really, really nice to me. So they reached out and asked, did I want to be a character? Well, they asked if I wanted to be Irish the Hedgehog, because we joked about that at the Sonic premiere. And I was like, I'm going to make sure that that happens. And they were also like, okay, if you're enthusiastic about it, then I can definitely get people on board behind the scenes. And they agreed to do it. And that was really, really fun. Irish the Hedgehog is literally just me talking as I am. As I do in almost everything I voice act in, because everyone wants an Irish character. And sure, who better than the resident Irishman on the YouTubes? But it's all very fun. The Irish the Hedgehog one was fun, but it was kind of like I mean, I guess he is canon because the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter and YouTube account did put it out there, so that makes him legitimized. But he's not in any of the shows or games or anything like that, so hopefully someday I can convince them to bring him back. But I got to play a character called Jack the Pirate, which is literally Captain Jack in the show. And he takes over from Knuckles the Dread. He's like part of his old crew, and things happen, and it's in episode 7 of the new Sonic Prime show on Netflix. So I can say now that your boy is on Netflix. I am credited in something that's on Netflix. That's fucking huge. I think that that's cool. I mean, I do have a documentary that has all about me, and that's up on like Apple TV and things like that, but I am credited in something that's on Netflix, and I think that that's pretty dope. So if you want to go watch it, Sonic Prime, episode 7. Not all the episodes are out yet. And I might have a bit more in it than the episodes that are out. So go watch it. It's very fun. I got to do that, a little bit of the backstory on how it happened and why it happened and who am I. But I got asked to be part of it and I said yes, of course, obviously, because of Sonic and a Netflix show that, like, it's not something that, oh, we have this Sonic game and you have like one sound effect in the background in a merchant area or something. That's usually the kind of voice roles that I'm expecting to get because I'm not a voice actor and I don't really audition for things. I've never actually auditioned for anything, so I don't know why I say not really. Just, I never do. I should. But I always expect it to be like a tiny thing, and then they showed me the lines, and I was like, oh, this is more than I expected. The same with like Free Guy. I thought I was just going to be like, oh, a background thing, like there'd be a Jacksepticeye Sam on a TV in the back of an arcade or something like that. But when they asked me to do it, I was like, yes, of course, obviously I'm going to do that. That's the coolest thing ever. The amount of people I know who would die to be in a Sonic thing. So I did it, and I did it here at my desk. And I had like people on, and they had like some of the episode already done, so I had to like sync my voice to mouth flaps, as they're called. So the voice is like going in the episode, and they have temporary voices in there just so they can get the pace of the episode down. And then voice actors come back in. Like how people dub anime all the time. They try and like match the voices and everything. And when I sat down to do it, some of the episodes had been done, or some of the, not episodes, but some of the scenes had been done. So I had to match to those, and that was like a new experience. But it didn't really work because I'm doing it over Zoom, and Zoom is laggy already. So we had to like do it the best we could, and it came out pretty well. And we did all of that. And then they turned, as we were recording it, they were like, we're picking up like reverb and echo a little bit from your setup. Like, are you hearing that? So I went back and listened to it, and I was like, no. It might just be through the software that you guys are recording and listening through. So they went off with it. We did the whole session over a couple of hours. And then they came back like a month later and were like, yeah, we can't use any of your voice lines because there's way too much echo in it. So I thought that this was fine, but apparently for broadcast, you need much higher standards. So this setup is not broadcast standard, apparently. It sounds fine for YouTube and everything, and especially when there's other sound effects going on, but I get why they wouldn't want it like that. So I had to go back and go to a studio and redo every single line over a few hours, and that was an ordeal as well, because trying to coordinate like mouth flaps, more of the episodes had been, or more of the scenes had been done by then, so I had to go back and re-record everything and then match it up to the voices I had already done, and some of the direction had kind of changed because as the scenes kind of like progressed, I guess they wanted like different emotions out of it. So I think what we ended up with turned out pretty well. So I don't know, I'm very happy with it. It's a very cool thing to be part of. It's also nice to hear that a lot of people, until I announced it, had seen the episodes but didn't realize it was me. And I think that is a big compliment, because that means I didn't stick out like a sore thumb, especially to people who know my voice. But when I went in, I was like, okay, I need to be a pirate. So in my head, I was like, I'll be Mr. Krabs. I'll just get in there and... Like, that was my go-to pirate kind of sound. I was like, okay, I live in that zone and tweak it how they want. And then when I got in, they were like, oh, can we just have your voice? And I was like, no, not again. I don't want to just be me. And an Irish accent is not a pirate accent. We just sound similar because we say like car instead of arr. So I think a lot of people equate that to piratisms. Irish people are just pirates. So I managed to like meet it halfway, and then it's like nothing beats sticking it to our old captain and these tasty sea dogs, that kind of voice. But it was very fun. There was a lot of learning to do in it because I'm not a trained voice actor and I'm not a trained actor at all, so I kind of just have to go with what I'm feeling. And then they had like a like casting director, voice director on the line, and a director of the episode on as well. So it's like, what do you want from this scene? So then the other guy who was like prompting me, he'd be like, yeah, so Sean, we want to get you like a bit of a like thanks for the sea dogs kind of thing. And I was like, whoa, your voice is like, the guy who was directing me had a perfect voice for it already. I was like, why aren't you in it? Were you nervous? Yeah, really, really, really nervous. Because it's one thing to be like left to your own devices to record lines here, which I normally do for most voices that I do. They're just like, here's the lines, and then I go off and do it in my own time. But this one, it's like, you have the director there. There was like 15 people on the call. And I'm like, oh God, this is for like a really big thing. So I was quite nervous for that. And you're also like not in the room with them. You're doing it with lag. You're doing it with different audio quality. So it's a little harder than if you're just in the studio. Because in the studio, it's like bang, bang, bang. You get it done really quickly. You get notes immediately. You can like read on the body language of the other person who's like in the other room, and you can see them as they're giving you direction. So it's a little trickier. But it did make me want to make like a vocal booth in my house. So I'm going to work on that for next year. I have like a tiny little studio room that we don't really do anything with. It's like my drum kit is set up in there now and some like spare stuff and our printer and that. It's like a tiny little box room. But there's nothing else in it. So it's kind of empty and not useful right now. So I was thinking about getting like sound padding done in there, like hiring a professional team to come in and sound pad it and then use that, because I have a spare like Mac down there as well that I edited 15 months on, and I use that for like Photoshop and stuff because I like using a Mac for that, but I hate using a laptop. So I have like a little studio down there that has like a computer set up. And well, another reason is that I use like a Go XLR for my mic here, but I have like a really high-end mic, like the Neumann U87 or Newman, however you pronounce it, which is like a $3,500 mic, which is like studio standard, but it's going into something that has a shit preamp. And that's just laziness on my part. But I have like an Apollo Twin recording or a mixer that I would love to use, but I don't have a Thunderbolt connection in my computer. So it's like, it looks like USB-C, but Thunderbolt is way better. But my Mac has Thunderbolt in it, so I'm like, why don't I just set it up down there in that room and have like I'm gonna see if I can hire like a vocal booth company. You know those booths that people have that's like, you know, you can get like a little sauna in your room. It's just like a little box that you can get and it has a door and you open it up and it's literally just a mic stand, a thing for lines, and then like padding all around it. Like a completely dead chamber. So I want to get one of those and install it in my room downstairs. And then just have that for recording voice lines. And then I can audition for stuff more if I get asked to be in something. I can do that. Thunderbolt is Mac exclusive, I'm pretty sure. I think you can get Windows motherboards that have Thunderbolt in it now. But from my experience, they're a little finicky. With my Mac, it just works. But for PC, it never really worked for me properly. More things should be Thunderbolt. I mean, everything should be Thunderbolt. Everything should be USB-C or Thunderbolt. But I think the Apollo Twin is a Thunderbolt 3 or 4 or higher. Like a 3 or higher. It's just a pain in the ass. Thunderbolt is like a connection type. You know how you have like USB, which is like the regular fat, chunky one, the square one, and now USB-C is like the rounded edge one that most phones except the fucking iPhone have. Thunderbolt looks like USB-C, but it has extremely high transfer rates. Yeah, Ransol. Great minds. It's just called Lightning here. Lightning is like the Apple one. But Thunderbolt is really, really fast. So for audio interfaces, it's nice because you just get really, really fast, high quality, clean audio, but you also get you get like no noise, but you also get like latency free like feedback. Apple is being forced to change to USB-C. Isn't that just in Europe? Which will make them change it everywhere. It's just so weird because their MacBooks have, well, they have mag connectors, but they also have USB-C connectors, and so do their iPads for charging. So I'm like, why the fuck do your phones not have that? Because you're just lazy bastards. Well, you want money, that's the thing. But yeah, that was Sonic. Very, very fun. But yeah, in regards to the LA trip, we did go to... Well, a bunch of stuff always happens around that time in LA. We always have Thankmas at the start of December. But it also always happens that Game Awards are around the same time. And Jeff always... God damn it. Jeff always gives me tickets to the Game Awards, me and Evelyn. I mean, I've known Jeff for a really long time, just through games in general. So it's always really nice that he sends us tickets every year. And he's asked me to present a few times as well. And any time that he'll ask me to present, I will. Because it's such a fun thing to be able to do. I fucking love video games so much that I just really adore being at the Game Awards. I just love the whole atmosphere around it. It's like video game Christmas. And it's always so bizarre because I see other people go to these events, like people who are in the games, people who, like other creators, other people who play games on their channels and everything. And very, very, very few of them stay for the entire event. Or they like go home early, or like right before Game of the Year is announced, they like leave. And I'm like, this is like the thing. Like, why are you leaving? I feel like I'm the only one who plays games on YouTube that actually fucking adores video games and everything around them. I love being there and seeing all the developers, and like Eric Williams walked by, the guy who directed God of War or Ragnarok, and then I was like to Evelyn, be like, that's Eric Williams, he works at Sony Santa Monica, he directed Ragnarok. And she's like, oh, cool. And then I'm like, that's that person, they make that game. So it's not even that I know the games or the actors or the voice actors or anything. I like know a lot of the people who make them too. I don't know, video games are just so cool. So anytime Jeff asked me to be in it, or to be part of it or be in it, I'm like, yes, absolutely, I will go. Thank you. But yeah, Game Awards were really fun. I think this year's Game Awards were the best they've ever been. There's a lot of games that were announced that maybe I won't even play or like don't really have that much interest in, but I think in regards to how long the show was versus how many like big announcements there were and how many things didn't get leaked, because normally a lot of stuff gets leaked, so by the time it's announced it's like, oh yeah, there it is. So this time it was just fantastic. And Elden Ring won Game of the Year, which it should. I joked to Evelyn. I was like, I love God of War Ragnarok, but if Elden Ring doesn't win and Ragnarok does, I'm doing a Kanye and I'm going up on stage and I'm going to be like, I'm going to let you finish, but Elden Ring had the greatest open world of all time. Except we wouldn't call it a Kanye anymore because it's kind of not cool to talk about him anymore. Has it ever been, really? But I mean, Ragnarok is a fantastic game as well, but I just keep thinking about the absolute shift in, hey, what up, Chris? Definitely been a while. I keep thinking about the absolute magnetic shift in gaming that happened when Elden Ring came out. Like, Ragnarok is phenomenal, and a lot of people talked about it, but then like 2 weeks go by, everyone's series are kind of done, people have kind of finished the game that bought it, and then a lot of the hype dies down around it. But Elden Ring came out, and for like 3 months, that's all people in gaming could talk about. And there's so many people who don't normally play games like that were playing it. So many people who took time, who didn't have the time to sit down and play it. And I just think that's remarkable. The amount of people that were, it was like when Breath of the Wild came out, the amount of people that were talking about that game was huge. And I was like, they have to win it, right? It was such a gargantuan movement in gaming when it came out, and it was so hyped up for so long. So I'm very glad that Elden Ring won it. And I got to see little Miyazaki go up. Well, he's not little, he actually looks really tall. Yeah, and then that fucking kid was on stage that talked about Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton. Which, for any of you watching the event, you guys heard what he said. But for all of us in the crowd, we had no idea what he said. He got up. Everyone in the audience thought he was a translator for FromSoft, which, okay, there's so many multitudes of like layers of things that went fucking wrong, which are all securities problems at the Game Awards. If people are getting up on stage, you should know they're translators. Like, I think you should know if this team wins, these people are getting up on stage. I know that that's a little weird to do. Not that it's like, oh, give away who's going to win, but just be like, okay, who on the narrative worked on this game for like God of War, for Elden Ring, blah, 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 blah. And then if they're going to win, you should know who's getting up on stage. Maybe like limit the amount of people. I don't know. That's weird because you shouldn't be able to take away people's stage time for the award that they're winning because it means a lot to them. But it's like with FromSoft's example, or like Kojima or whatever, you should know the translators that are getting up with them because of security reasons. You don't know what's going to happen. A lot of the people that are in that room didn't get free tickets to it or are in the games industry, so what's stopping anyone storming the stage like that kid did? And I feel like when he got up, FromSoft have their translator. He got up earlier in the night to talk about the game. So when he got up with them, I think everyone was like, oh, maybe they have a second translator because somebody else wants to talk, and that other guy is Miyazaki's translator. I don't know, it was really weird. And I remember I was sitting there looking at him being like, he's a little young looking, isn't he? And then everything was happening, and as soon as Miyazaki stopped talking and the kid went up to the mic, I was like, oh. And then the music was playing, which is another whole thing that I want to talk about. But then the kid got up and started talking, but in the theater, they cut the mic, and then he like tapped it, and because that's why he taps it, because he couldn't hear himself, and then it comes back on, and then he started talking, but in the place we couldn't hear him either. I was like, what the fuck is he saying? And then they cut him off again, and I was like, oh, he wasn't supposed to be up there. And then he left. So everyone that was in like our row that were leaving, I like checked my phone afterwards because it took ages to leave the theater, and I looked at Twitter and I was like, why the fuck? I was like, Ethan tweeted about Bill Clinton. I was like, what is going on? And then I saw Ross tweeted about Bill Clinton. I was like, oh, maybe they did a stream together or a video where they made a Bill Clinton joke. I was like, I don't get it. And then I checked trending. I was like, Bill Clinton's trending? Did he die? And then I looked down further and I was like, what is going on? And then I saw the clip, but it was like on my phone listening to it. And I was like, what the fuck is that kid saying? So then people in our row were talking about it, and I had to explain to them what he actually said, and they were like, huh? So just so fucking weird. Did he die? Because normally if a celebrity or somebody is trending on Twitter, it means they've died or they're getting cancelled. And I was like, there's no way Bill Clinton did anything now that's getting him cancelled. But that was just such a weird thing. But from our perspective, we didn't know what was happening until we went to Twitter afterwards because I couldn't hear what the kid said. But yeah, people say he got arrested afterwards. That's what Jeff said, but I don't think he got arrested. I think he just got reprimanded. I don't know. Yeah, what could get Bill Clinton more cancelled than when he was in office from back then? Yeah. It's such a stupid thing to say. And I've heard a lot of people say it was anti-Semitic because there's like a conspiracy, like an anti-Semitic conspiracy about like all the world leaders are Jewish and they're like controlling the world, and that was kind of the joke he was going for. I don't know, it's so fucking bizarre and so all over the place, and he clearly is just a fucking dumbass kid who wanted a lot of attention and got a lot of attention, and then a bunch of journalists started interviewing him afterwards. I'm like, don't give him more attention, you fucking idiots. Why would you interview someone like that on your like journalism page? Clearly he just wants attention. Who cares? Move on. Anyway, that was a whole bunch of fucking nonsense. But Jeff tweeted that he got arrested, and then immediately 100k likes on that. Oh, what a wild time. But the awards themselves are really cool. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, it was so weird because Chris Judge won for Kratos for best performance, which, well done, Chris Judge. Very, very good performance in Ragnarok. Clearly the role means a lot to him, and he had a lot to say. And it was so awkward because his speech was 9 minutes long, which, don't get me wrong, you win an award, you have a lot to say, you have a lot put into this character, go for it. Like, who am I to say anything else? I don't know what headspace you got into to be that character. But at the same time, it's like a 50-50, right? It's like the awards are not about you, they're not about your win, and a lot of other people are gonna win that night. And Jeff already said that the show has to be cut short because they're giving away a Steam Deck for every minute the show went on. So a longer show is not really something they could do, so that's why they started playing the music. And then Chris Judge didn't like succeed to the music, which is also kind of badass, but it almost feels like it spurned him on. It would almost, when everyone was there, everyone was in the crowd kind of like, what is happening? Why is he still talking? Can we get to the point? And then it almost felt like Chris heard the music and was like, they're playing music for me. My speech is epic. Let me keep saying it. And it just made his speech sound more epic. But I think your playoff music should be really shitty music. It should be like techno. It shouldn't match the speech. It should completely contrast with it so they want to stop talking. Oh, it was so bizarre. I've never seen a speech that long before. But again, clearly it means a lot to him, and who am I to say what a speech should be? But I just feel sorry for everyone that won an award after that, because their speeches had to be shorter, and then so many other people got played off when they weren't talking that long because his speech took so much time out of the runtime of the show. And I think that's what you kind of got to be cognizant of for a win like that. Like, by all means, say your truth, king. Say whatever you want. But like a speech time on stage, like get up, say your thing, do your thanks, and like make a YouTube video afterwards. Put it on Twitter, make a video there. Like say everything you really wanted to say in a lot of places. It doesn't all have to come out to you on stage. I don't know. On one hand, I'm like, I shouldn't say that because he wanted a very important award to him and it meant a lot to him, so he had a lot to say. Good for him. But on the other hand, I'm like, there was a lot of other people that needed to win awards that night and they were played off when they weren't taking that long, and I don't know. I've never gotten up on stage and won an award. Not like that, at least. I figured that's why his speech became a bit of a running gag on the show. Yeah, I mean, they kind of had fun with it. And everyone who's like, they were kind of being mean to Chris Judge afterwards. I don't think they were. It was all in good fun. No one was like, God, Chris, your fucking speech, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I could see Chris Judge from where I was sitting. He was like 5 rows down on the right, and he laughed at every single one of them. He was having a great time, and every time someone made a joke about the length of his speech, he had fun with it. He didn't sit down and like feel all bad and then was like, oh God, what have I done? And like, he didn't like leave out of shame, and like he was having fun. It's just memes and it's all fun. And he was making jokes about it on Twitter afterwards. People were taking it more seriously than he himself took it. And I feel like if he's not taking it that seriously, the show's not taking it that seriously, then no one else should. But yeah, he was sitting right next to... He was like front left of where Ludwig and Cutie were sitting, which I thought was cool. Which congrats to Ludwig for his win. I was also at his chess boxing tournament, which I'll talk about in a bit as well. But yeah, it was so cool to like see so many people there. But yeah, what were the announcements? Like biggest announcements from all Game Awards announcements, because I forget what happened. Because I want to remember what the biggest one was for me. Oh yeah, Death Stranding 2 got announced. That's pretty cool. I figured it was going to be because Kojima had kept hinting at it online. He kept tweeting out stuff like the who, what, where, when, how of it all. And it was clearly Death Stranding too, because some of the pictures he was tweeting, like he had these like silhouetted face pictures, and it was just like, who am I? I don't know. Who is it? And one of them looked like Leah Seydoux, who plays Fragile. Sorry, Fragile. I'm fragile. I'm fragile, but I'm not fragile, or the other way around. Everything's true except for the lies. You know that award-winning writing? I actually don't know if it won any awards. But it was pretty obvious he was going to announce that. And that was pretty hype. The trailer, I mean, the thing is, when you're at an event like this and the trailers come on, it's way more exciting than when you're watching it at home. And I think that that's always the case for like movie premieres as well. You always see people go to a movie premiere, they come back, and then on Twitter, they're like, just saw blah, blah, blah. Like they're allowed to say that they saw it and an initial impression of it before the reviews drop because there's embargoes on stuff. And then they're always glowing praise. Because when you go to the premiere and the cast are there and they introduce it and everyone's cheering when the movie's on, it kind of hypes you up a little bit. And that's the same for the trailers at the Game Awards. It makes you way more excited for what was going on. So Death Stranding 2 came on and the whole place erupted. And it was cool. I'm excited to see where the game goes. Has like a... I don't really know what's going on in it because Leah Seydoux's character has like... Maybe we should just watch the trailer. Shut up, lo-fi girl. No one cares about you right now. We're gonna look at Koji. Where's my face? There I am. How else would you look at this without my beautiful reaction to it? 4 minutes? Didn't feel like 4 minutes. Bum. But what does it mean? God, it could mean any number of things. The whales are coming. The dolphins are going to rise up and kill us all. Maybe the whole game is about dolphins evolving, like that one episode of South Park. No, Simpsons. Simpsons. I can't remember. Round hole? Okay, this is fucked up. It's like babies are trying to learn shit. Square hole, square object that's already hard enough for our prepubescent monkey brains. How's a baby gonna fucking know to put a crab in a crab hole? That is fucked up, Kojima. What's wrong with you? Oh yeah, and Troy is singing in the trailer. This is cool. I love this. Powered by Decima, same engine that does Horizon Forbidden Dawn, Zero West. This is cool. This is the coolest part of the trailer. And when I saw this, I had really high hopes that we were going to like an alternate dimension or a different planet or something like that. It's so fucking cool. I don't know where this is or what it's supposed to be. It looks like Mars. Maybe they're bringing Elon Musk's dead body across the Mars landscape. But they're like basalt columns. Hey, baby Lou! I also heard that they're using like MetaHuman for this, the Unreal Engine thing. Is it Unreal Engine that does MetaHuman? So it's like an AI generated baby face, which that's a fucking weird sentence. AI generated baby face. Come on down and get your own AI generated baby face for our AI generated web store. You want a baby, but you don't want to take care of one and send it off to college, then just get an AI generated baby face. It looks like a baby, acts like a baby, but isn't. You can turn off the baby whenever you want. I'm glad they kind of went with this approach because babies in video games are horrifying. They just take like a human character and then shrink them down. And it never looks good. This looks fantastic. That's a fucking baby. That looks like a baby. It's fucking, you see his little jowls shake like a baby? Leah Seydoux somehow doesn't wrinkle anymore. Remember in Death Stranding, she goes out into the rain and she loses her physical beauty. And then she gets all wrinkled, she turns into an old lady. She's not old anymore. Unless this is a dream or a flashback. Can't be a flashback because the baby is Lou. This is the BB from the original game.
Protect you.
Sick haircut. I feel like everyone that's going to be... Sorry, I'm pausing constantly. A 4-minute trailer, I'm pausing at 45 seconds 10 times. I feel like everyone in the apocalypse should have short hair. You think I'm going to go around in the apocalypse with hair like this? The amount of shit that it'll get caught in. I can't wash it. It's so annoying. I would hope in the apocalypse I don't care about hair. Something's happening. Also, there's a lot of talk about the lines in this one. Notice how not a single line intersects. It's all parallel, which I'm thinking means parallel universe or dimension shit. Because other examples of this show up. I'm gonna get big brain on it. Because Kojima doesn't do anything by halves. Everything has a purpose. Also, fucking terrific camera work. Oh god, guys. Kojima was at the after party for the Game Awards, and I've met him before at the exact same place, at the exact same after party. I met him and Norman Reedus when the game was there. I took a picture with him. It's up on my Instagram. But he was there at the after party, and Jeff kept being like, did you talk to Kojima again? Go up, say hi to him again. But I was like, no, everybody keeps going up to him and talking to him, and it's loud, and you can't have a normal conversation, and we have to like get the translator in to translate for us and everything. It's just awkward, and I don't know what I would say, and I don't want to be annoying. So I had like a few drinks. I wasn't drunk, not even close to it. I was like slightly, mildly buzzed. So I DM'd Kojima. I basically drunk texted him. And I was like, wait, I can't see chat anymore. I want to see people cringe at me. I basically drunk texted him. It wasn't anything bad. I just said like, what exactly did I say? This is why people shouldn't follow me on social media. You're opening yourself up to a world of hurt. I said, really looking forward to Death Stranding 2. Great reveal trailer. You're an incredible cinematographer. That's it. That's all I said. Nothing else. That was it. Perfect. Just a mild amount of cringe. A lot of fanboying, but in like a very succinct format. Like you can't really like misread the situation all that much. But he didn't write back. He didn't DM me back, and I don't know what that's about. Kind of fucked up. I would love to get a message like that. You realize how important a message like that would be to me if some other YouTuber or a director or anybody at all sent me a message that was like, hey, excited for Iris 2. You're a great actor, or something like that. I'd be throbbing at the thought. It's a good text. You guys are weird. Shut up. He probably saw the does he still follow me? I have to know. Okay, he still follows me. That's good. We're in the clear for that. I like that. I don't know if he still follows me on his Japanese account. Let's see. He does. We're good. We're good. Okay, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Don't parasocial yourself. Don't overthink it. We're still best friends. He follows me on both accounts. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. I'm not even worried about it. I'm not even worried about it. Anyway, this shot here was a good example of good cinematography. I do genuinely think, despite what you might think about his writing, his game design, what Death Stranding was, whatever, you can't deny he's a good director. He's a good cinematographer. This is a cool camera angle. It sells the emotion of the scene. It's a transitional effect that could have been done way worse, but he had fun with it. I like that quite a bit. Baby. Don't worry. It's okay. Here we have parallel lines again in the handles of the bike. You see? It all makes sense. I'll always be with you. sick design for a bike. It's not a bike, it's actually a unique, great cinematography. Fantastic. Lighting. Perfect. Not quite sure about the whole dead baby thing. Kinda fucked up. Maybe that's what I should have texted him. Hey, Kojima, cool trailer, but what the fuck is up with the baby? Why baby dead? Also, why crab hole? Kinda fucked up. Why did you do that? Why did Fragile eat the baby? Why baby inside throat, if not eat? Lots of questions. I don't know what these things are. They're like cryptobiotes, but they're different looking this time. Are these lines intersect, actually, now that I think about it? Dead Space 2.
Baby, don't worry. It's okay.
But see that? More lines. That drawbridge symbol, 2 lines, not connecting. And that's the exact handlebars on the bike.
Have to suffer such loss.
Normie fetus!
No, I meant it when I said I understand how you feel. But if
Like
you
a
hold
grizzled
on
grey
to
old
the
man.
sadness, it'll weigh you down like an anchor.
Also, this thing is straight up Metal Gear Rex. There's people falling off. That's cool looking. But it's literally Metal Gear Rex's head.
My crew, Sam.
Like, how are they allowed to get away with that? I know he created Metal Gear Solid, but it's owned by Konami.
It's time for you to hit the road.
Who's gonna stop him?
Start a new journey.
Fair.
It wasn't the UCA that made the final decision. It was APAC, a private corporation. So let love walk
This is so weird.
till the morning.
Good to know that in the future of Death Stranding, they have like a fretless, stringless electric guitar. I'm also assuming that all of these symbols and everything on them mean a lot. Why did Troy Baker's character turn into David Bowie, though? What does his necklace mean? Why are his insides on the outsides? I don't know. I also forget what happens to him at the end. We killed him, right? But now he's back? I don't know. Maybe his face is all fucked up. Should we have connected?
Well,
Why baby octopus? Why baby turn into squid baby? Squid Game? I don't know. It's fucking weird. But then again, so was the last one. And then by the end of the game, it was like, huh. I mean, that makes sense. But weird. Why baby at all? I don't know. Anyway, Death Stranding 2, pretty hype. Despite what a lot of people thought about the first game, I still kind of enjoyed it. It was a fun game to play, and I feel like I was one of the few people who actually played the game on YouTube. A lot of people seem to have given up or got bored, but I was into it the whole way. In hindsight, it's one of those games where I'm like, I had fun, but I don't think I'd play it again. I want to see some of the environments, but I don't want to like get from A to B as much as I did. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's a crossover with Splatoon. Anyway, moving on. We also had... This is probably my favorite reveal of the night, which is Hades 2. Boom, 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 boom. This showed up everyone fucking lost their minds. The whole place went wild. And it was immediately obvious as well that it was Hades 2 for not only art style but the music as well. And I turned to Evelyn and I was like, you don't understand what this means. They've never done a sequel before. I was literally that meme of the guy in the girl's ear being like, no, they've never done a sequel before. This is big news. That means that Hades 1 was so well received and they enjoyed making it so much that they're making a sequel. They're not even making a sequel, but they're making a hotter, sexier sequel. What was that meme that came out of it? People were like, the bisexuals had their time. Now it's the bisexuals' time. Everyone's feasting. Hell yeah. Music's so awesome. Oh. Don't get Full Metal Alchemisted. Why she got glowy arm? Why claws? Maybe cat person?
Good.
Why glowy leg?
Not good enough.
Double eyes?
Can but learn. And the greatest teacher is out there. Now go. Death.
Also, that dual weapon is cool. Like a dagger and a... What do you call it? Like a sickle, I guess?
To Kronos.
Death to Kronos! Taking on the Titans, baby! That's cool! I like that. Such a cool idea for a sequel. You'd think that they'd run out of stuff with all the stuff they did in the first game, but nuh-uh, we got Titans, baby. Titans versus gods?
Death to Kronos.
Death to Kronos.
This is an opportunity.
Oh yeah, look how cool that design is. Moros, Doom Incarnate. Thank God you wrote his description because I had no idea. I'm glad everyone comes with like a Twitter bio. God, that's a cool design. Fuck!
For you, to make a better future for us all. Least I can do is light you.
Oh God, Apollo, you're so hot! Oh, look at that beautiful hair!
Way down.
About ready to get.
Oh God, dummy mommy! Fuck! So hot! Look at that sword! Look at those biceps! Ooh, we love a strong woman. Fuck! Your wings aren't even attached to you. God, you're cool. Look at that jawline. Fuck!
Give in? No. I was born for this.
Even the moon is sexy! What's that? I'd fuck it!
Okay, if I call you
Dora
witch.
the Explorer's in this game! Donde está Hades? I don't fucking know!
Like that?
What is that thing? That's cool!
Vengeance for your family awaits you.
I don't know who that is!
He is no mere titan.
That's Hades! He's fucked up now! Why is he all like shirtless and small? He could be big, I don't know. See, his beard doesn't connect either. Parallel universes. It all means something.
He is time itself, and time cannot be stopped.
Wait for me, Father. I'll be this.
So they say, wait for me, father. Does that mean... I mean, it could be a red herring. It on, like, surface level, it's like, oh, you're Hades' kid again. Like Zagreus. Zangief. So you're Hades' kid again? I don't know who that makes that character. Although I'd never heard of Zagreus before. Is Zagreus an actual, like, mythological creature, or was it made up for the game? Hades had 3 kids? Melanoi is the daughter of Hades and Persephone. Ah. All right, I'm into it. Can't wait for Zaddy to come back. Oh, that's cool. I don't know what her deal is. The fact that she has heterochromia and what her eyes mean and all that good stuff. She clearly has like a powerful arm. Very cool. Best reveal of the night. I was very, very excited by this. I think that's probably my favorite one. I mean, oh my god, there's a whole bunch of them. We're only going to watch the ones that are like prevalent to me. PlayStation. Also at Final Fantasy 16. I don't really care about this game. I want Final Fantasy to go back to like the medieval stuff instead of this whole like... I guess a lot of this stuff is medieval, but I just want Final Fantasy 9 again, you know? I just want that. I don't want...
Safety. I'm not going without you.
I'm not going without you. I'm like a little baby Charlie Lunnet. Extra, extra. Read all about it. Final Fantasy has 16 games.
I'm going to hold the enemy here while you make your escape.
If I do play the game, I'm going to be playing it in Japanese because I don't want little British boy walking around and being like, why are we in Final Fantasy? God, it's fucked up. Why are kids getting traumatized in video games?
Your Highness! Run!
Run! I kind of like that delivery, honestly. Please don't kill me.
Joshua!
That Joshua's a good scream. That was good. Woo! Let's go! Video games! Look at all that! And all of that happens because you pressed one button. It came up and it said, do you want to press triangle for the super power move? Like fucking Kingdom Hearts 3? God, what a dull game to play. Kingdom Hearts 1, awesome. Kingdom Hearts 2, awesome. Kingdom Hearts 3 can suck my ass. I hated that game. Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic because I like doing that and it's funny for the joke. But I hated how much I was playing that game and then I was like, do you want to press this button where you fucking ride a train for 10 minutes and then explode the entire universe? Oh, God. I just felt so uninvolved in that game. Anyway.
Revenge is a weapon.
Is that Odin? Hell yeah. Shiva? I do like how big the summons are.
I sometimes wonder if I am controlling it, or if it's controlling me.
I sometimes wonder if I should get Wendy's or Five Guys, but sooner or later, McDonald's takes over.
That's a cool ass design. Is the story in this one that people are the summons and they just turn into him? Because he's Ifrit. I like that. That's a cool concept. Crush him! Oh no, me synapses! Hell yeah. Cool design. Bahamut? Leviathan? Who knows? Who's this leather daddy? Dude's got wings!
No matter how bitter the truth that
Or is he
awaits me,
Ifrit? No, he's side by side.
I will press on.
There's two of them!
Good boy.
Yeah, that's it. Game of the year. Fucking pack it in, lads. No one cares about what else is coming out. You can pet the dog.
What do we do?
The usual.
What we do? The usual. Head down the pub, have a few pints, and wait for this to all blow over. Oh my god, what a fucking mess.
13 years I've waited for this chance.
We're too fucking bad at made a fire now, boy.
I won't be dying today.
The anima?
Come to me, Ifrit!
That's cool. Get fucking owned. See, all of this looks cool in cutscene video format, but cool logo too. But they also did that for Final Fantasy 15, and a lot of the summon shit that happened in that was so on rails that I just couldn't enjoy it. I also hated those characters in 15. I know, boys' big adventure out in the woods, and they're all having a great time. It's just a big, long camping trip. I don't know, I'm too old for video games. Come to me, Ifrit! Oh god, it's like playing Xenoblade Chronicles. Or... is that what it's called? Yeah. Where the English voices are all like, we've got to beat the machines! And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm out. I can't take you seriously. I'm turning on the Japanese voices immediately. I just can't. I hear enough of it around. I go to town and it's all British. I don't need it in my video games, all right? British people have enough. They have enough of the world already. They don't need more. Final Fantasy 15 had plot. There's also that. Final Fantasy 15 just felt like one giant tech demo.
Don't worry, I'm not really dead. I'm gonna come back alive, and I'm gonna be Bahamut. Or I could be Odin, you don't know.
Anyway, this is Armored Core, best game. It's so funny. Jeff announced this by saying like, oh, a big studio, multiple game of the years. They've announced here before, so excited that they chose this. And then Bandai Namco showed up and I was like, Bandai Namco could be FromSoft. And then like some stuff was playing and everyone was like, what the fuck is this? And I think by here, yeah, it was here I turned to Evelyn and said, Armored Core, FromSoft are making a new one. And because I had heard rumors about it and like some stuff leaked last year about it, or maybe earlier this year, that they were making a new Armored Core. And then this part came on and I was like, I'm so fucking talented. This is a dope trailer. Look at that! What even is that? Fire explosion? Space? Earth? Who knows? Feed the fire. Fuck yeah. God, that looks cool. This is very Dark Souls as well. And then when that showed up, you would not believe how fucking loud the room got. It was insane. I haven't played many Armored Core games. I'm not really into mech games in general. I'll definitely play this, but I don't think I'll enjoy it. I think for the people who are into Armored Core and are into mecha games in general, this is a huge win, because this is a very niche kind of thing to put out there, especially after you just had Elden Ring come out, which is your best-selling game ever. And people are so excited about it. So I just think it's cool that they're still doing Armored Core. Don't know what any of this means. I love that. This here kind of looks like a cartoony art style, but also real. It's like a cool sort of mix. It's very stylized. So cool. Curious what the gameplay is going to be like. Also glad they kept with the 6, Because a lot of times when it comes to newer games or really old franchises that are coming back, there's like a really big thing about just like God of War. Now it's called God of War 2018, Doom 2016. They could have just gone Armored Core Fires of Rubicon and that would have been fine. But I'm glad they stuck with the 6. That shows confidence. Anyway, not a whole lot to say about that one. I think that would be my biggest announcement of the event if I was more into mecha games. But it's still cool. They said that Miyazaki started directing it and then handed it over to the guy who directed Sekiro. So I have faith that it'll be a cool game. Thanks for the subs! Then we have Judas, Jesus' best friend. So this, yeah, so Ken Levine made BioShock. He's been missing. He's not been missing, he's been making this game for a very, very long time. Everyone's very excited about it. For people who don't know much about this game, he's had interviews before where he described it as narrative Lego, which I don't fucking know what that means. That just sounds buzzwordy. But apparently it's a very, very, very heavily choice-based game. And the choices kind of like stack on top of each other and fit together to make your Lego, basically. And I've heard other people talk about this before. People who have talked to Ken Levine and described the game and played a little bit of it and said that it was very cool, and Jeff Keighley himself played some of the game and said it was cool. So I don't know what to expect from this, but the trailer itself is pretty cool.
Ship is dying.
I mean, if it looks like this when it comes out,
is with one of them.
It's pretty damn good. Really artistic. This is very BioShock Infinite. This is cool. The music fits really well with the trailer. No, Doghead! No, that's not the Doghead. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
People say I have this coming. And you know what? They're right.
Hell yeah, they're right. Yeah, burn it all down, huh? Do this. Yeah, and people are saying like this symbolizes the narrative structure. Like you go here, you branch off one path, you branch off another. Like these nodes are symbolizing like the choice-based structure of the game. It could be cool. I'm a little sad that it is as much like BioShock as it is. Because when I'd heard about the game years ago, I didn't think he was making like another BioShock-y type of game. So gameplay-wise, it looks like it's pretty similar. Like the whole thing in your hand and zapping stuff and like powers and gun in your hand. I know he goes back to System Shock with that, and he invented those types of designs so he can do whatever he wants with them. But I thought it was going to be something different. So it just looks like BioShock without BioShock. We'll see what happens. We also have Crash Team Rumble, like Crash Bash. Don't really care about that. Street Fighter 6. I'm not a fighting game person. Oh, the Diablo 4 trailer was cool. The Diablo 4 trailer was probably the best trailer at the event. Because Evelyn and I have been playing Diablo 2. There's like the remaster, remake version of that game. And I've played Diablo 3 before. So we've been going through 2. We're going to do 3 because Evelyn's never played them. And then we're going to play Diablo 4 when that comes out. just in our spare time. But this trailer was so goddamn cool. So atmospheric. And again, when you're in a theater where the bass is like shaking the entire place and then that choir kicks in, oh my god, you could feel it in your seat. This is very Lord of the Rings, like Helm's Deep. Oh my god. So I thought that was, is it Tyrael? But people reminded me in Diablo 3 he gets turned back into a person, or he becomes mortal. So then they were saying that's Inarius. I'm not too well versed on the Diablo lore, but I know like Angel dude when I see him. It's Inarius, Lilith's husband. Oh, that makes more sense because Lilith shows up. And then Halsey showed up as Lilith in the Game Awards and she sang a song. It's very cool. I don't know if that means she has a song for the game or she's voicing Lilith. Just the pace and the camera work and the sound design, it's all so perfect.
Holy name.
Jacksepticeye! Imagine if they just dropped that in the middle of the trailer.
Blessed be the light.
So cool. The extra long spears. Spartans would be proud. Oh, and then they were looking at him up in the sky. There she is! I love this like shake of the ground before he lands. So much power in everything. He's not even scared of everything that's around him.
I have returned to hell for you.
I have returned to hell.
Again, when the bass is like shaking your asshole in a theater and then his voice comes out, everyone was like, yeah! So fucking dope. The only bad thing is that it's made by Blizzard. Like, it's such a blemish on such a cool thing. Blizzard fucking suck. And I wish they didn't. I wish no developer studio sucked. I wish they treated their employees better. But then it's like a lot of employees who worked on the game are not shit and they spent a great deal of time making this game. So it's like you want to help out the people who put their blood, sweat and tears into it, but you don't want to give Blizzard money. What do you do? Yeah, it'd be cool if Microsoft are in the process of trying to buy Blizzard, but it's being stopped a lot by like the FTC and Sony are being like, no, it's not fair that you're allowed to do that. Meanwhile, Sony make 1 million exclusives a year and have like timed exclusive on so many games. And then they're like, it's fine when we do it, but we don't like it when Microsoft are going to do it. Because exclusivity is a big reason why our game sells so well. And then Blizzard are like, well, we don't really have that many exclusive games, so we'll just buy a whole studio and publisher and just make those exclusive. And then Sony are like, no, not like that now. They're just mad because they're getting Call of Duty. And then Sony are like, well, Call of Duty sells a shit ton of consoles for us. Please don't take it. It's all bullshit. They're all big corporations and it doesn't fucking matter. They don't give a shit about the people who are buying their products. But it would be nice if Microsoft did get to buy Blizzard for, what was it, 64 billion or something? Good lord. And then just fucking weeded out all the shitheads. Just get rid of them. But what do I know? I'm just a regular person who thinks about the people who make and play games. I don't have billions of dollars. I just have millions. So 68 billion. See, 64 to 68 billion doesn't sound like that much, but there's $4 billion of a difference in that. And that's absolutely gargantuan. Whatever. It's like the Hogwarts game coming out. It's like, oh man, it looks like the best Harry Potter game ever. But then, J.K. Rowling. Why? Fucking sucks, man. How hard is it to make a whole universe full of diverse wizards and then just be a good person? I thought it was easy. I thought it was easy to not be a shithead. How hard is it to be like, you deserve a happy life, other person who I don't know anything about and don't need to? Oh, whatever, man. We also had Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. I'm not a really big Suicide Squad person, so I'll reserve judgment on that until it's out. Bayonetta Origins, I'm also not a Bayonetta person. I know everyone was hyped to see new Bayonetta stuff, and then they saw what the game was, and then they were like, I'll still play it and it's cool, but I was expecting another Bayonetta. The Hellboy game looked cool. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. That looked cool. We'll watch that trailer.
The order is gone. I was betrayed by the one I trusted most.
This was really weird as well, because on stage they just had a tank with like a prosthetic person in it. And then they had like the whole wall was covered in like these tanks. And I was like, I'm pretty good at calling what games are what right at the beginning of a trailer, like the Armored Core one. And then this showed up and I was like, when they showed it on stage for like 30 seconds, I was like, I don't know what we're about to watch. And then they showed up and I was like, oh, I didn't get that.
Imprisoned again.
It looks cool. I'm going to say that I wasn't a fan of the first one. Was it Fallen Order? I really wanted to like it, but I'm such a like FromSoft purist. I've played those games to absolute death. I know the timings of everything got to do with the animation systems in those games. And then when you're playing something that's kind of imitating a style like that, it's hard to not be annoyed by it, because it's like I have all this muscle memory for a FromSoft game, and then I play stuff that's kind of like a discount version of it or trying to do the same thing. And Fallen Order was a lot like a FromSoft game by design, but it didn't have any of the like really fluid, like super perfect animation systems and iframes and that kind of stuff. So when I'm dodging something, it's like I feel like I should be dodging this, but I'm not. And all this muscle memory that I have built up in my body is not working. And it just takes so much to unlearn that I wasn't having fun with it. Yeah, it felt a little clunky. Hey, what up, Tubbo? Yeah, this is the Star Wars game. Can't you tell? I know it says it, but look, that's Darth Vader right there. We're just really close to him. So I'll give this one a shot. Maybe they've learned from it. Maybe they've changed some of the mechanics, but I just wish it wasn't so soulsy. I wish it did its own thing, and it was just like it was closer to like a Devil May Cry than it was a Dark Souls. But the visuals are great.
I hear you've been busy.
And Evelyn played the first one, and she said she really liked it, so maybe I should give it another shot. Because that's fun. Look at that. Fucking riding a dinosaur.
A Jedi. Remind our friend here why his kind are supposed to be dead.
Also remind the audience. 2 lightsabers, bitch! You thought it was 1, but was 2!
After all we've done, the Empire's only grown stronger.
Nice. It's... Can I also point out how annoying it is that we always get lightsaber shit, but the lightsabers don't act like lightsabers? Like, he cuts off his legs in the final part of it, but it's like, why aren't you cutting off his legs all the time? And it's like, oh no, we have lightsaber armor. You can't get through it because it's protected against lightsabers. It's just kind of annoying. I want a fucking Star Wars game that's like 18 rated. I know it's not because all the kids love Star Wars and we need to pander to them, and I get it. But I want to see arms and legs get fucking chopped off. It's so cool. It'd put me up against 1,000,000 droids and let me just throw a lightsaber through like 100 of them and watch them all collapse. It's awesome. Dude, he's got a beard now.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, babe.
Part of the job, Gustus.
The Jedi is a threat.
He's got a beard now. He's so hot. Go back. Ah, he's so hot. And he came out on stage too, and he was so excited, and he seems like a cool guy in real life. Look how handsome he is. Yeah, that! I want more of that! He's stopping time!
As long as we fight.
That's cool! But you see that? Also, if he can stop time, or like go really fast, doesn't that make him like one of the more powerful Force users ever? Is this shit canon? Because I remember when like Kylo Ren stopped a blaster bolt mid-air and everyone was like, holy fuck, that's really, really powerful. And then Starkiller in the Force Unleashed games brought down a Star Destroyer, like collapsed the whole thing, and everyone was like, wait, is he canon? Old Republic era powers. That makes sense. They were more in tune with the Force back then. But still, that's really fucking powerful.
As long as we fight.
This kind of stuff, all of this stuff, I want it to be physics driven. I want it to be physics, dynamic, super fluid. This is so nitpicky and so annoying, and it really means nothing to anybody who enjoys these games, and it's just me being a fucking annoying bastard. But there's so many animations going on that he's like locked into. Like when he like throws the thing and freezes midair and then starts swinging, I want that to be all one fluid animation. I know, it's so nitpicky, I'm sorry. People work very hard in these video games and they're very, very, very hard to make, and animation systems are very tricky, especially when you're interacting with a lot of things like that. But just visually, that like slowness makes me not feel like, whoa, the movement, the fluidity, the speed. That's Kylo Ren's lightsaber. That's cool though. That one where he has like the double lightsaber and he threw that around and like chopped like 10 droids in half. Like that's the shit I want to do. I know you need to make it different so that when you're like fighting a ton of things, you need to like make the enemies harder. You can't just go up against a bunch of silly droids all the time. But I just want cool shit. It's kind of what the Force Unleashed games did. It was just, you were so strong, but it was more about the quantity of enemies rather than like, oh, you're fighting like 2 hard dudes. I know it's a different fighting system. But hopefully it's good. People enjoyed the first one, and that's, my opinion doesn't matter. So hopefully people enjoy the next one. They had Crime Boss, which is a really weird game that they showed off. There's a ton of celebrities in it. Yeah, the Hellboy game looked cool. Earthblade looked okay. Banishers, which is by the people who made Life is Strange, which it could be cool, but when he said, so, there's something in the trailer, he's like, we banish people. I turned to Evelyn and I was like, we're banishers, as a joke, and then the game was called Banishers. Remnant 2 looked cool. Tekken 8 looked okay. I'm not really a big Tekken guy. Idris Elba was announced. Horizon Forbidden West, PS5 DLC was announced. Ooh, Space Marine 2. Ooh, yeah. For the Emperor.
We are the defenders of mankind.
Look at that Ultramarine.
Against the horrors that dwell in the darkness.
Oh, man. I know a lot of you probably don't care about Warhammer or the 40k universe at all. And that's fair. It's a big thing to get into and it's not for everybody. But I've been really getting into it. I started reading the Uriel Ventress Chronicles, the Ultramarines novel. And it's so good. It's starting to devolve a little too much into politics for my liking. But that's kind of the 40k universe. But if you've ever watched Astartes, the short film, is his name Syama Pedersen? I don't know if I pronounced his name right or if that's even his name, but you know what I mean. Oh, it's so good. But oh, Dark Tide just came out. That's been fun. Now we're getting Space Marine 2. Look at that.
We draw breath. We stand.
The Emperor provides.
While we stand. We fight.
Kill that Xeno scum. That's so awesome. He's got his jump pack on. He's so cool.
We are the angels of death. We are the blade drawn against the endless night.
Fuck yeah.
Nothing will survive our wrath.
Yeah. Rabute Gilliman would be proud. Is that how you pronounce his name? Fuck yeah, it looks so cool. And Henry Cavill's going to be in a TV show or a movie about it. I don't know what part, but they're making a Warhammer 40k something live action. And he said that he's going to be in it. The Emperor protects. Yes, brothers. Let's get rid of this vile scum. Anyway, I'm going to play Space Marine 2 and it's going to be awesome. Sounds like Trevor from Castlevania. He actually does. Jack and Mark having an intense discussion about Warhammer. Oh, we have. Well, maybe not an intense discussion, but Mark's big into it as well. But we talked about the Astartes short. Maybe we'll watch that. I think have I watched the Astartes short on a stream before with everybody? I can't remember. What about Death Stranding 2 though? You're about 30 minutes late. But we did talk about it. They had Vampire Survivors mobile and DLC. That's cool. Vampire Survivors is an incredible game. You should all go play it. Dune Awakening. It's so... They were showing Dune. I was so into it. And then it said MMO. And I was like, oh, man. They did that with the last one as well. Where it was like, oh, Dune? Oh, Spice Wars? Cool. And that was like a strategy game. And I'm like, oh, man. Blue Protocol looked cool. Kind of like a Genshin-y MMO type game. That looked awesome. Returnal PC port. Returnal is awesome. I'm excited to play that on PC. Last of Us Part 1 is coming to PC. Cool, I guess. Lords of the Fallen. This is a cool one. I don't know why it's starting here with Leslie and Ray. But cool. I love this Captain Marvel. This person won the award for accessibility for God of War Ragnarok. Oh, maybe you'll see me. No, I was over here somewhere. Can't see it. But Lords of... this is a weird game, because Lords of the Fallen came out, and it was like a Dark Souls knockoff. And it was not very good. And then they made The Surge, and then that was okay. And now they're making... Lords of the Fallen, or sorry, The Lords of the Fallen. So I think they're like soft rebooting it. I don't really know what the deal with this game is, but the trailer is fantastic.
Holy Aureus, giver of life and light. In your divine radiance, we trust. Shield our souls.
The art style is nuts.
Our hearts with hope.
These subtitles are way behind.
And guide our path eternal.
It looks like a Nazgul.
Turn our gaze from what lies beyond your luster, where wickedness dwells, and the shadows reign. Arm us with your golden splendor, so that together may we vanquish the darkness.
So awesome.
In light, we walk.
So it seems like you have a lantern that shows like the other world. You see it like shining up here and showing all of the like tendril stuff. That's kind of cool. It's like the Medium or Soul Reaver, where there's like another world on top of ours. Oh my god. Seems like it's still keeping the same combat style. That's badass. The hell is that?
Vanquish the darkness, the lords of the fallen.
Woo! That was me in the crowd being like, yay!
Vanquish the darkness, lords of the fallen. If you don't vanquish the darkness, then who will?
Anyway, those were the best trailers for what I liked. I think it was a very, very good show. There were so many big reveals. Very, very cool games coming out. I'm excited. And then a bunch of winners. Game of the Year, Elden Ring. Best Game Direction, Elden Ring. Both absolutely deserved. Best Narrative. I can see why God of War Ragnarok. I think Elden Ring's narrative is better as a whole, but God of War Ragnarok's is more palatable. So I can see why that one won. Best Art Direction, Elden Ring, absolutely. Score and music. Yeah, Ragnarok, I think, has very, very good music. Best audio design, Ragnarok. Best performance, Chris Judge. Games for Impact. There's a lot of very good winners. There's a lot of very good things. I am absolutely annoyed that Best Debut Indie didn't go to Vampire Survivors. As much as I love Stray, I think Stray is great. Stray won Best Indie Game, didn't it? I can't see it. And I think that's great. And I'm glad they got 2 awards. But Vampire Survivors was only nominated once, which is a shame because it's such a fucking awesome game. I know I haven't played it or talked about it before, but any of you who know it know what I mean. It's such a good game, and it's so sad that they didn't win for their only nomination. Yeah, Sifu didn't get anything either. For some categories, it was really hard. And then other categories, it wasn't hard at all because it was just Elden Ring and God of War. Cult of the Lamb deserved more, I think. I disagree. I think Cult of the Lamb is fun, and I played that entire game. But I think Stray and Vampire Survivors are better. Vampire Survivors is a very, very, very fun game. If you have a system that you can play it on, download it, go play it. I promise you'll lose like 20 hours of your life to it. Yeah, Cult of the Lamb is too basic. It has really good ideas, but it needed more of it. It's like, its base building mechanics are fun, but they're not deep enough, and then its roguelike elements are fun, but not deep enough. It needs more build variety, and it needs more reason to build your base. It just needs deeper mechanics, but all of the basics are there, so hopefully they make a second game and kind of build upon it. Where's Callisto Protocol? Look, I really, really, really wanted to do Callisto Protocol for a series. I was really hyped about it. A successor to Dead Space, a spiritual successor. No one was more excited about that game than I was. But when the review... First of all, they weren't giving out codes until the game released. And they weren't allowing reviews until the game was released, which are 2 major red flags immediately. Whenever a game developer, no, I mean not always, sometimes it can turn around and sometimes it's just for spoiler reasons for like massive games, but when they don't give out codes or they don't let reviews come out until the game is out, that usually means something is wrong with the game, or they're worried about the scores and they're like, let's just try and get as many sales as we can and then bring it out, whatever. There's a lot of like politics that go on behind the scenes for it. And that was already like, okay, I don't know. And then I woke up and all the reviews were out and they were all like, yeah, this game runs like absolute garbage. And it's also not that fun. And I was like, I'll give it a try. And I booted it up. I started recording it and everything. And then the game ran like absolute dog shit. Which was already bothering enough. And then like an hour into the game, it just wasn't fun. I thought the characters were kind of dull. I wasn't interested in the story at all. Like the gameplay itself was like Dead Space, but not as tight and as fun as Dead Space. I really didn't like the melee combat that was in the game. It was either too repetitive or it just didn't work at all. So I gave it the benefit of the doubt, and instead of doing it for a series, because I was like, well, if I'm not enjoying it, then what's the point of uploading it? I'm not going to do stuff that's just for the sake of it, even if people are kind of excited about it or whatever, because if I'm not having fun, it's just going to be a really boring series, and why would I do that? So I played it in my spare time, and I finished it, and I didn't like it. And I feel like that's fair. I think it's like a 6 out of 10 type of game. There's so much potential in it. I will say the audio design and the visuals are some of the best that came out this year. The visuals are fucking nuts. I can't believe that's an Unreal Engine 4 game. It looked so good. The animations are all like top of the line, like the best in the business. You can tell they put a lot of love and effort into that to make it look as good as it did. Sound design was top notch as well. Their audio and visual team are like some of the best in the business. But if it's not fun to play, then it's just not that fun at the end of the day. I didn't care for the story. I thought the story was really boring, and then it ended and I was like, that went nowhere. And I didn't like it. The characters were so one note and dull and so generic that I didn't really like them. Like, Dead Space is great because you have a guy thrust into a situation he's not supposed to be in, and he's not a fighter, he's an engineer. And having an engineer use the tools of his trade to fight back against an impossible circumstance, and then his whole purpose is to leave the station because of the person that he loves. It's a pretty simple premise as well. Hey, thank you for the subs. It's a simple premise as well, but it just works so much better. And Isaac is such a much more endearing character because you care for him, and he's not a fighter, he's not a hardened veteran, he's not a badass, but he does badass things. Callisto Protocol has Josh Duhamel in it. And that, a lot of the times when it's just like big name actors in roles, just for the sake of having a big name actor in a role, it really kind of pulls me out of it. And his character just didn't really have that much purpose. He didn't really have a whole lot going on. His character arc in the game itself is not that great. I can't even really tell you what happened in half of the game because I was just tuned out of it most of it. I'm talking about Callisto Protocol for anyone who didn't know. Yeah, its downfall is that it's trying too similar to be Dead Space. Because it goes one of two ways, right? You're either a lot like Dead Space, and then that's fine, you did what Dead Space did well, and then you're kind of forgettable because it's like, oh, well, it's just more Dead Space, and that's fine. Or you try and do something completely different, and then it sinks or swims on its own merits, and then people are like, well, it's kind of a lot like Dead Space, but not really. And Callisto Protocol falls into such weird territory because it's so much like Dead Space, but without a lot of the stuff that made Dead Space incredible. So I just don't really know where it lands. I think a lot of it feels like Last of Us 2, like the combat system in it feels a lot like Last of Us 2. Like you have a few weapons that you get throughout the game, and then you upgrade those, but you have scarce ammo, so you rely a lot on your melee as well. And the melee animation for dodging even feels like the one in Last of Us 2. But Last of Us' strength is that it's a good mix between both weapons. and you just press L1 to dodge. In Callisto Protocol, you have to hold left or right as the enemy comes in. When they swing, then you just hold the other direction, and then for as many combos as they do, then it's your turn. Then the enemy goes back to swinging, then it's your turn. And it's fun for like 30 minutes. When you pull it off, it looks cool, it feels badass. Swinging and like baseball batting them in the face feels incredible. But then it's just kind of that for the whole game. And the last third of the game finally gives you enough weapons and ammo to be like, oh, now we're using guns a lot. And then it feels better. But it should have, the balance between both types of weapons should have been flipped. That's what Dead Space does. It's what Resi 4 does. Resi 4, you have the knife. But it's like, you do all shooting first, get dudes down on their knees, then do like a suplex or a kick, go in with your knife to save ammo, and then rinse repeat that. It's a lot of dynamics going on. It's very fun. You can just kill them all with bullets. You can just kill them all with melee. It's harder. But Callisto just feels like they messed up the sort of sequence of events, and the sort of loop just doesn't feel that satisfying. And then all the enemies are like fought the same. You know why when in Dead Space you're fighting, like some dudes show up and you immediately see the silhouette of what guy it is. You know how to take it out. It's either that dude with the like regular sized human body with the big 2 tentacles up top, and then it's like, okay, for me it's like, I see that silhouette, I don't even need to see what, like the whole body of it. It's like, take out a leg, they go down, take out an arm, then I pull it with kinesis, fire that with the other at another enemy. The little baby things come up, they have the 3 tentacles that come out of them, you wait for them to be on the wall, the 3 tentacles come out, then you start lopping off the tentacles. Like there's a sequence that you get into, and a lot of the enemies are very different in how you take them out, despite, like, it's all like dismember limbs. Like at a base level it's all the same thing. But in Callisto it's like all the enemies are taken out in the exact same way, and there's like 4 enemy types, and it all feels the exact same. Like, I don't know, it just feels a little dull to fight. It feels like an inconvenience more than anything. Not only that, but the dodge mechanic doesn't even work half the time. There's times when I like went to dodge something and I do the animation and then the enemy hits me anyway. And then on normal mode, it's like 2 hits and you're dead. It's more than that, but... Oh, and the biggest offender is that in Dead Space, when you're fighting, you just press B or circle or whatever to heal. You heal as you're going. You press left or right on the D-pad to change weapons. It's immediate, it's instant. You do it as you're running. You keep the momentum going, you keep the fights going. In Callisto Protocol, there's an animation to take out a different weapon. He pulls out the gun, takes the top off, puts the other top on. Then you can use it. If you get stuck in the middle of that, you have to repeat the whole thing again. If you have to heal, you have to take out an injector, go down on your knee, stick it in your neck, inject, then come back up. In Dead Space, it's just you press B, you're healed, you keep moving. Like, it's more fluid. It's like all the pieces are there, but there's just a bunch of things in the way. I don't know. Came from Gab's stream. Oh, hey! Did Evelyn finish streaming? Oh, yeah, she did, because she had to finish earlier. Anyway, I don't mean to dunk on Callisto Protocol too hard, because I can tell it's very, very hard to make a game in general. During the pandemic, impossible to make a game. It's also harder to make a game that's new, that is a spiritual successor to something else from a team that came from that studio, but also to make a brand new IP. Like, it's very, very hard to make a video game, and I sympathize with that, but I also have to be honest with my criticisms of it. It's like, just get rid of the animations for healing and for switching weapons. The combat feels more fluid. Also in Dead Space, you like hit a couple of dudes. If you don't kill them, you turn around, you run away, you reassess the situation, you start over. In Callisto, you can't really do that because turning around and running away, the enemies almost get faster. And then they start smacking you in the back of the head. So it's like, you take them out now or you don't. Enemies can hit you off screen. You have a system that locks you into like one-on-one fights because you're holding a direction to dodge an attack. The whole system revolves around that. So when an enemy attacks you from behind, you suddenly get smacked by something that's like, well, I was locked into this guy. I was fighting this guy. It's like one-on-one combat. Or he can like dodge the guy behind you, but then he won't dodge the guy in front of you, or vice versa. It's just really sloppy. And I just wasn't having fun with it, so I decided not to do a series on it. I just wouldn't have been having fun. I would have been nitpicking a lot, and it's just not fair on the developers to have a series where you bring so much attention to the game and then kind of like be harsh on it. I just don't think that's fair. That's based on higher difficulty. There's no running. I mean, that's true, but again, Callisto's like the same almost on every difficulty. I could get lost in your criticizing eyes. What up, Sam? But from what I've seen, the consensus online is that a lot of people have their nitpicks with the game as well. But also, it's so rare that we get AAA big budget horror games, so I also don't want to dunk on them too hard and have them not make a sequel. Because again, the potential's there. They have all the pieces in place to be great. It's just, I want more, because the world did start to get a bit more interesting towards the end of the game. And the team is talented, so we'll see what they do. I hope that their studio doesn't like get closed down because this one's a failure or anything like that. That would be horrible. You're too nice. No, I'm just being realistic because I know what it's like for studios to come out of nowhere, make a game, try their best, make a new IP, and then somebody's like, sorry, game didn't sell well enough. That's exactly what happened to Dead Space. They made 1, it was a hit. They made 2, EA got greedy and were like, if you don't make 3, make 5 million copies sold, then we're just canceling the whole franchise. And that's why Dead Space 3 got a lot of criticism, because they tried way too hard to make it palatable to a wider audience, which is a AAA horror game. And that just doesn't, you can't sell 10 million copies, 5 million copies on like a niche sort of audience back then. Obviously things are selling better now, like Resident Evil remakes are all selling incredible. But for Dead Space 3, it didn't meet the units sold. And then they were like, well, sorry, you can't make any more Dead Spaces. They all got folded into other departments, other studios. And that's why some of them left to make Callisto Protocol, because they wanted to make Dead Space again, but you can't because they own the IP. It's just a shame because Dead Space had so much potential. Dead Space 1 and 2 are some of my favorite games ever made. I played Dead Space 2 recently before Callisto Protocol came out, and it still holds up. It's still an incredibly well-paced game. It's like Uncharted 2. I still think Uncharted 2 is like the best paced game ever, and it's the best sequel ever made in the gaming space. And Dead Space 2 kind of like took a bunch of that sort of like, oh, there's a building collapsing and you're sliding down through it, and oh, we gotta jump and a big spaceship's exploding and all that kind of stuff, but it worked really well. And Dead Space 1, oh, I'm so excited for the remake. I do think I'll do a full series on the remake, but it's kind of hard to gauge because it's like a remake of a game that a lot of people, even back in the day, like it wasn't the most popular game ever, so we'll see what happens, but it's not that long a game. So we'll do like a 4-episode series on it or something. Same with the Resident Evil 4 remake. I'm excited for that. And people seemed really pumped on my other Resident Evil playthroughs, like 7, 8, 2, and 3. So I think it's only right that we do 4 as well. Games today aren't made with fun in mind. That's not true. A lot of games are incredibly fun, even in the big budget AAA space. It's just a lot of them are in the indie space. I think another problem with Callisto, it was trying way too hard to be cinematic. It was trying to be like this big bombastic like action movie, and then that pulls away from the gameplay elements. We'll see what happens. See Fortnite's graphical update? Yeah, look cool. It's like a whole remaster for Fortnite. Unreal Engine, man. Unreal Engine 5 launched and everyone was like, yeah, it's fine, like it looks good. But now they did Unreal Engine 5.1, which brings in Nanite and Lumen, which is like their texture LOD system and their lighting engine for like ray traced global illumination. And it looks so good. I can't believe that Fortnite is like one of the best looking games around right now. Will you make a High on Life series? I thought about it, but I remembered any of the sort of Squanch games, the Justin Roiland studio games that I've played before. there's a lot of talking in them. There's a lot of jokes in them, and they're usually fairly funny and pretty fun to play. But as someone who like commentates over games as my job, there's a lot of like, okay, when can I speak? And I'm just kind of like waiting around for a gap, and then I get interrupted by it, or I'm interrupting them, and it's just a lot of like, it's a lot of that, and it just makes for a very clunky series, so probably not. You can turn that off in the new one? Yeah, but then it's like, that's how the game was made. Why would I, you know? It's like, not every game that comes out needs to be turned into a series. It's also hard to get people like really excited about a series these days. You'll notice that a lot of YouTubers really don't do like longer series on everything anymore. It's like very specific games that people are picking because there's just so much to pick from now. People have too much choice on YouTube that they don't want to sit around for like 10 episodes of a series of a game that they're not really sure they're gonna like. Like, people's attention spans have shifted quite a bit. That's why something like God of War is amazing, because God of War comes out and I knew people would love that and every single episode would pop off, and it did. And it's like, it's so stress-free to record a game like that. But that's like, that's the exception. Like stuff like Elden Ring, like the really, really massive, overly hyped games are always going to do well. That's why you'll see a lot of people do like one-offs or silly little games. That's why something like Goat Simulator is just perfect. It's like, you just get in, you have fun, you fuck around. It doesn't really matter if you finish it or not. And it's also like, I don't want to commit. Believe me, I would love to start series on every bigger game that's coming out. But what ends up happening is that either I don't enjoy it, or people will fall off and then it just doesn't perform as well, or people just aren't that interested in it. And if people aren't interested in it, I'm not going to like fart out a bunch of episodes of something that people aren't excited about. My job is to entertain at the end of the day. If something's not entertaining or holding people's interest, I'm just not going to do it. Like, I want people to have fun. I want people to be entertained. I'm not here to show off games as like walkthroughs. I'm here to entertain and make jokes and have fun at the end of the day. But if I stop a series, then I just get bombarded with people for years and years and years about like, well, why did you stop that series? Or like, here's a list of games that Jack stopped playing, and people see that as like a negative instead of being like, no, he started these games but just didn't finish them. Like, each video should be a bubble of its own entertainment, as I see it. Unless like something like God of War that we all know that everyone's gonna love. That's like, yeah, let's see the bigger picture in this because it's trying to tell a way bigger story. But something like Goat Sim, it's like, if I stopped it, I do have another episode of Goat Sim recorded that I'll be uploading. But like, if I stopped it there, fine, fun. Because even today, I still get people who are like, man, Jack still didn't finish this game. And it's like 4 or 5 years old. I'm like, take the hint. You know, and that's why a lot of YouTubers don't start series, because the audience are just going to start nitpicking way too much. Like, just have fun. It's fine. If you start a series and it doesn't go anywhere, then just fine. It doesn't matter. I'm just here to play games and have fun and entertain and make jokes. And that's it. Are there any series you regret dropping? Not really. Because if I drop them, it's usually for a very specific reason at the time. Maybe something like Portal Stories Mel. Because at the time when I was uploading, it didn't seem like people were that interested in it. But then later on, people got very interested in it. And I think I was near the end of that, and I just didn't finish it. Metal Gear Solid is another one that people say a lot. Like the first Metal Gear Solid, I went back and played that. But I mean, I did 3 episodes on it, and the 3rd episode is at 500k views. I'm like, I'm not going to finish that. Clearly, that's like 1/3 of the regular viewership. And again, I'm not one to like harp on about viewership all the time, but clearly that means people weren't that interested in it. Which, I mean, it's a way too old a game. if people don't vibe with it, fine. I'll move on and like play other stuff. There's plenty of other games out there that will make people excited. $500K is so much to me, but I bet it's not much to big creators. Don't get me wrong, $500K is a lot. But we also have to think about like the whole YouTube system and like it's all like perspective driven, right? It's like whatever your base level audience is and your base level viewership is for most videos, and then if you're uploading something that's way, way, way below that, then YouTube looks at it and is like, hey, people aren't watching your shit anymore, so we're just gonna not send it to them. Or they're gonna unsub you from it, or turn off notifications and all that kind of shit. It's like you gotta think about it in the broader spectrum about what's gonna keep things exciting. It's like it's the stuff that YouTubers think about all the time, but few people really talk about it because it makes them sound like all they care about is views. But there's a lot more to it, and it's scary. A lot of creators as well, like they're counting on that viewership to stay and remain and keep their audience happy, and if it dips and then upsets their channel, and like that knock-on effect is terrifying for a lot of people. It's just the problem with like super algorithmically driven content. And it's a bit unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Maybe in like a couple of years it'll swing back and we'll have like the old school YouTube back or whatever. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Outlast for Nostalgia Week? I don't think I'll play Outlast. That's another thing for Nostalgia Week as well. I want to play... I want to do like... Because I am going to do it this year, and I think I have like 4 or 5 games picked out already that I'm going to do. And I'm not going to say what they are, because that will ruin the surprise. But I want to play games that don't have to go across like multiple days. A lot of people say... Because that's why I did like Undertale a while back, where I'm like, I'll do 1 episode, get to a certain point, have fun with it, and then like, if people want to watch more, I have a whole Undertale series. But there's a lot of games I would love to play for it. That's not only nostalgia for the channel, but for me in general. And I think sometimes the games are just a little too long. That like Detroit Become Human is such a fun one to do, and I love that game, but you would kind of... I don't want to like do multiple episodes, because then I like the idea of doing like an episode a day. 7 games, 7 episodes, Nostalgia Week, 7 different things. I think that's fun. I like that sort of narrative. Oh yeah, there's a new Amnesia game coming out as well. I didn't play Rebirth. I heard it was so-so. But the new one looks cool. Maybe I'll try that one. Oh yeah, I did say, somebody asked did I enjoy chess boxing. I did. I went to the chess boxing tournament, the Ludwig's one, and it was really fun. It was a little awkward because we somehow managed to run into Ludwig the night before. We were kind of like at the same place in Glendale, and then he was like, yeah, have your name, because I wasn't sure if I was going to go because it was the day after Thankmas. Oh, I haven't even talked about Thankmas yet. It was the day after Thankmas, and I was like, I don't know if I'll go because I don't know how tired I'm going to be. The Thankmas stream is like 10 hours, and it's a lot of energy to put into those things, and then go back and fall asleep, and then the next day I would be there, and I didn't know how long the tournament was going to be, because it was like, oh, you have this many people doing this many rounds of chess and boxing? I was like, we could be there for like 6 hours. I don't know. But we did end up going, but Ludwig was like, I have your names on the door. I have your names for tickets on the door. He was like, Jacksepticeye. And I was like, okay, cool. Went to the event, went to the ticket booth, which normally it doesn't work like that. Normally if you have like seats for friends and other creators that come to your events, at least for like the shows that I've done and Mark has done and Ethan's done and the Game Grumps have done, usually it's that you just go in like a side entrance and you kind of like go backstage, green room, there's a place to hang out, you go in the side and then you get like special seats closer to the thing so that you're not near all the fans, because fans normally come up and want to take pictures and everything and disrupt the whole thing, and you also don't want to disrupt the event because it's not your event. But But we got tickets at like the box office at like Will Call as they call it. But then when I went up and gave them my ID for it, they said I wasn't on the list, which I actually got like, I got who megaloled. So I gave them like my license, or my, like, I don't have a license, but like my ID card. And then they were like, yeah, because Ethan got his ticket and one for him and my friend Justin, because he had a +1 to it. And then when I put mine in, they said, yeah, you're not on it. And then some guy behind the ticket counter recognized me, and I was like, oh, okay. They'll know what to search for, because I was like, maybe it's under Jacksepticeye and not Sean McLaughlin, and that's what the other guy was searching for. And then the other guy came back and was like, yeah, we don't have you on record, so we're just going to print out 2 tickets for you. And I was like, oh, okay. They weren't there, problem solved. And I wasn't getting too like in my head about it, because I was like, it's a big event to put on. I also didn't give 100% yes to Ludwig, but he said my thing was on it, and I'm like, it's a big thing. It gets messy. It's other people's thing to coordinate that, not him. Because again, as someone who's put on a show, it's kind of up to your team and your management to make sure that other creators and everybody get in to see the show. So I wasn't like blaming him or anything. But then we finally got 2 tickets, and he was like, yeah, I just printed you off 2 new tickets, but they were like in the seats in the middle of all the fans. And again, I'm not like pretentious enough to be like, oh, I need to be in my own special place. But again, Ethan and Saikuno and everybody were all sitting in the special section. I was like, I want to go sit with them and talk to them. And I also don't want to like make a scene and sit in the middle of like everybody else who's at the event. So then I was like, we'll go in and see what happens. Maybe we can get Ludwig's attention or someone from his team. We do have like contact with some of them. We went in, and then Evelyn had like a backpack on, and I dare to even call it a backpack because it was so small. It was like this size on her back. And they were like, sorry, you can't bring your backpack in. You either need a handbag, like a purse, like this size, or you need a clear bag. And we were like, oh, okay. Is there like a bag check we can put it into? Because most venues have them. They're like, nope. So we were like, do you have clear bags that we can put stuff into? We'll just dump everything into it. And they were like, nope. So like, can't you just check the bag? Like, we'll open the bag, look in, and like rummage through it. Like, look all you want. That's what you always do at these events, like baseball stadiums, football stadiums. They're like, no, sorry. So we're like, okay, fuck, what do we do? So we're like, okay, I guess we'll go back to the car. It was like a 10-minute walk back to the car. It's like, let's just do that. We'll go back to the car, put it in, and our friend Justin, who you guys know Justin if you've seen the documentary. He was the guy who did merch at my tour. He's since been promoted in Real Good Touring, so he works on like the organizational side, and he does like a lot of management stuff. So he helped create Ethan's tour, and he's one of my best friends ever. Justin is, well, Ethan is as well, but Justin is one of my best friends ever. He's like a brother to me, so I get along really, really, really well with him. So he was like, let me see what I can do. And he did the whole like standing on the phone for 15 minutes calling people, and then he managed to get us in the media side, coordinated with Ludwig's team, had someone from his team come out and meet us, bring us in, brought us in the back entrance. But the only thing is then at the ticket counter, Ethan got like his wristband for being like, okay, here's my ticket, here's my VIP. So one of them was like, here's for the VIP entrance, here's the other wristband to be like, you get to go to the after party afterwards. We didn't get any of those wristbands. We got like this other green wristband that didn't work. It was just like, okay, we have something to show that we're here. We went in the back entrance, we got to meet up with everybody. But every time I tried to go to the bathroom, they were like, sorry, you can't come through here. This is where like the boxers come out. And I was like, no, I'm just sitting right here in like the VIP section. We're like, oh, okay. It's like, okay, I don't know why that worked, because clearly the wristband doesn't mean anything. And then can't a fan just come down and say that? So I went to the bathroom, and then on the way back, they were like, sorry, you can't come back through here. Like, this is for where the boxers come through. I was like, I was literally just in the VIP section and came back through here to go to the bathroom. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, man, what is going on? It was so awkward to like get around this event. But it was a substantial event, and there were a lot of creators at it, so it was just really awkward. So I was like, I felt like, oh, I belong here, but I don't belong here, and I should leave. Whatever. The event itself was a massive success, and it was really, really fun for what was actually happening, and I was very impressed by it all. I'd never seen chess boxing before, and it is exactly what you think it is like chess and then boxing. There was like people playing Smash Bros in boxing as well. It was really cool, very impressive. I don't really know the first thing about boxing. I learned a little bit from Aaron earlier in the year when we went to a friend's wedding, that Justin. We went to his wedding and they were all like sparring and like doing training in between like all the wedding stuff and the bachelor party, whatever. And Aaron was like teaching me some things and like moving your body and whatever. But I would like practice swing and I had the natural movement down and Aaron was like, holy fuck, you like picked that up quick. And I was like, I guess I'm Irish. It's just like in me. I guess we just know how to fight. And I remember years ago going to PAX West, we went to an arcade that had one of those like punching bag machines. And I was like, oh man, I don't know about this because I'm a small guy. I don't know how hard I can punch. I've never done this. And like Mark got up and did it. And Mark can like throw a swing. Mark's a hefty dude. He's like built for boxing. And then he did it and got a really high score. And I was like, okay. And I did it and got like almost the exact same score. I think I got like 2 points lower. And then the next one I did, I got higher than him. And I was like, whoa, I can punch. Let's go. And I like walked around for the rest of the night like this, like, fuck yeah. I got a fucking cannon on me. And I was like, I guess that makes sense because I can like throw things really far. It's like I understand like the mechanics of my arm and how to like whip it around and get like a fucking swing going. So I guess there's like fighting in me. But every time people are like, would you ever do chess boxing or creator clash? I'm like, no, I don't want to get hit by a person. I don't want to hit a person and I also don't want to get hit. But I did hang around with Aaron when I was in LA just now and he was doing like his training and Aaron's impressive. Aaron's footwork and his training and everything is very, very impressive. It's one thing to like do stuff in an actual fight, but Aaron's training, watching him train was very, very impressive. I have huge respect for him. I was like there with his trainer and I was like watching it and like kind of like learning what they were doing and studying because I think boxing is fascinating. Us Irish, as much as I joke around about us fighting, we do have a really good history of like professional boxers in Ireland. Like Conor McGregor's a good fighter, Katie Taylor's a great fighter. So we've done good in like fighting sports for a long time. So I was like sitting there and looking at it and like, oh, okay. And like listening to his trainer and being like, yeah, that's cool. No, that makes sense. Yeah. And like looking at Aaron's footwork and I was like, man, that's so impressive. It's so cool. So I would love to do like the training for boxing, but I just don't actually want to fight anybody. Like I care way too much about my own mental capacity. I already freak out about my own health already. Like I started getting migraines last year and I get like ocular migraines constantly, like 3 times a week. Like all the time. And I'm like, what if I get punched in the head and something's going on in my brain already that it like detaches something in my head and I'm just fucked for the rest of my life. Now that's completely overthinking it and catastrophizing it. That's my anxiety getting in the way. But I'm like, if there's a 1% chance that could happen, I'm not going to fight anybody. Like what if I got hit in the head and my retina's detached? What if I got a concussion and it fucked me up for a year? What if I already have brain fog from COVID and migraines. I just don't want to add to any of that. I just don't have anything to prove to myself. I'm fine. I'll just stick to trying to be funny. I'm a lover, not a fighter, Your Honor. But if someone comes at me, at least now I know that I got a fucking swing in me. I know how to throw a punch. If I remember out with Evelyn and some guy comes up and he's like, I don't fight the face, poof! Right in the fucking jaw. You know? It's in me. Maybe I'll just train boxing. So whenever it needs to come out, you know? I'll be fast. They'll call me Jack Tyson from now on. Boom! Right in the kisser. Anyway. But yeah, the event was cool. Seeing people fight each other in real life is kind of scary. They did so well. Again, anybody, even if they're fighting poorly or fantastically, anybody that gets into a ring to fight like that for an event has my utmost respect. Because I won't do it. I won't jump in and fight anybody. So yeah, great respect. Because people keep asking me to be like, would you ever do creator clash? Like, you could fight this person or that person. I'm like, no, I don't want to fight anybody. But I also don't know how to play chess. I've never learned how to play chess. I've never been in front of a chessboard. I kind of know bits and pieces about it, but it's like, let's just say it's never going to be a case of like, play this game of chess or I'm going to kill you. But Evelyn and Ethan were like explaining to me what was going on as I was doing it. So it's like the chess portion of it, I'm like, I kind of zoned out because again, I don't really know what's going on. So people were like on their feet and clapping and I was like, yeah! Woo! And then the boxing started and I was up on my feet being like, yeah, let's go! Come on, toast! Well, that was really fun. It was an impressive event as well. Really cool to see everybody come together like that. Hey, thanks for the subs. I also got to meet Saikuno for the first time, which was really fun. I mean, I got to meet a lot of people for the first time at that one. I went over to Miyung's as well, and obviously I'd met Miyung before, but I got to meet Ryan Higa for the first time in person. We've played so much Valorant together. Yeah, got to meet Jerma, got to meet Hassan, got to meet Abe and Wendy, Masayoshi, John. I got to meet Sid. Who else is there? Oh god, I feel bad now because there's so many people that I met for the first time and I can't remember half of them. It was fun meeting Jerma because it was so bizarre because everybody that I'd met came up and were like, dude, congrats on the 10 million. And I was like, oh, thanks. I didn't know you knew about that. So everyone was very nice. Everyone kept asking if me and Saikuno took pictures together, but we didn't. Because, well, first of all, it's just not in either of our natures to kind of like, we just don't think about social media as we walk around. I don't really think about like, oh, I can turn this into like a picture opportunity for online. Because us meeting each other like means a lot for both of us. And that's kind of it. That's kind of where it ends. Like, meeting is fun and we're friends and that's it. I'm sure we can take, I mean, we took a picture ourselves for our own posterity, for like each other. But it's like both of us like looked scuffed and both of us were tired and both of us were like just hanging out with friends. So it was like, we just want to have the picture for each other and not for people to see. And someday we'll get a picture together and the internet can see and everyone can lose their minds and say, oh, Jesus. And it'll be great. There are pictures that other people took of us at the event that we happen to be in the same shot together, so. I'd rather be a person first and a influencer second when it comes to that stuff. Did you want to slap Ludwig? Who doesn't? He was like, everybody is up on stage and wants to slap me. And then everyone was like, I'll raise my hand. No, that was cool. A nice surprise at the end of the event. So, congrats to him. He put on a great event, broke his viewership record. Everyone online was psyched about it and had fun. Couple of wonky moments here and there, but that's every single live show. You're never going to get it perfect. So I think he did very, very well. Very impressive. And I think it's just cool to see what creators are able to make, and I hope he's very proud of it and very fun. But yeah, Thankmas. I forgot to talk about that as well. What a gargantuan event. First of all, thanks to anybody who helped out. I know I said it at the end of the stream and bawled like a big old baby. It was phenomenal. Way, 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 way bigger than I expected. I had it in my head. I was like, you know what? Last year was such a freak anomaly that we did $7 million, $7.5 million. I was like, there's no way we're ever going to top that again. And that's fine. It's for charity. It doesn't matter. You don't always have to top whatever you did before. And we did rehearsals and everything. And I was like, man, we've got some fun stuff planned. And we have like, everything's pretty fluid and fun. And I think it's going to flow really well. And then the whole thing did. I think it's the best Thankmas we've done. And we had some like fun segments, and then there was a ton of surprises that came through. Like I knew the 500k from Coca-Cola were coming through as well, which was phenomenal. Finally got that Coke spawn. But whenever it comes to things like this, like you have to be very specific about how you address stuff. So we couldn't say it was a sponsorship. We had to say it was a donation. And Coke is technically the product, not the company. So they're known as Coca-Cola, and the product itself is Coke. So I couldn't like ream off the sort of like meme that I'd been doing for a long time. So if anyone was wondering why I didn't say it exactly that way, it was because of that. And I'm like, if you're dropping 500k on this, I will do whatever you want. I will address the company how they want to be perceived. And I'm very, very, very grateful that they decided to give a very generous donation to it. It was so fucking cool. And then we got the donation from Terramana Tequila from Dwayne Johnson as well for 500k. Which was fucking nuts. At every break I would take, they were like, Sean, you have a gift under the tree, but don't open it until we tell you to. It's like, okay, what are you guys planning? And when I was shaking the box, I was like, oh, it's like a bottle of champagne as like a successful stream, like crack it open on camera and being like, woo, yay, we did it. And so I was like, I knew it was a bottle of alcohol and I got that part right, but I had no idea that they were going to pull that surprise on me. So like I didn't know how to react to any of them. And then the anonymous donor at the end for the $3.7 million, who people keep like speculating who it was. I don't even know who it was. Usually with stuff like this is that very, very, very rich people want to give a donation, but they don't want to like say that they're doing it. They don't want like a big song and dance around it. So the charity knows who's donating, but for us, it's just not like relevant. They don't want to like set on stream or, you know. We also had a bunch of like smaller anonymous donations as well, like the $1,000 donors. There was like 10k. So I don't know who it is. Everyone was like, it was Jack Black because he was on the stream. I highly doubt it. It wasn't Ryan Reynolds. It wasn't Mr. Beast. Hey, thanks for the subs. I think we'd know if it was them. It doesn't matter. It's money for charity. It's a massive donation. It got us up to our biggest fundraising goal ever, and that's all I care about. If people want to give money to charity and they want to do it anonymously and they want to give over that amount of money, I'm not going to say no. I'll take it. Yeah, 10 million. Jesus Christ. I'm like, how the fuck? Okay, we're definitely not going to pass that again. Because that just seems like an absolute freak anomaly. Unless I can get a whole bunch of company donations again. Which is kind of my hope. Is that there's so many companies out there who want to donate to charity every year anyway for various different reasons. And if we can make Thankmas sort of like a beacon for good at the end of the year, like it is. And sort of raise the profile of Thankmas a bit more. Because like I said, my whole goal is that I'm not going to be able to do Thankmas forever. I'm not going to be able to do them every single year. And it's a lot of time and stress and effort and energy to put into doing it every year. So eventually I'm not going to be able to do it every single time, but I'll do it for as long as I can. But my goal is to like keep raising the profile of Thankmas, and it's starting to get there that when I say Thankmas is coming, or people are starting to know that Thankmas is every year, and kind of make it its own sort of pseudo holiday and make people aware of it. And the more people that are aware of it, the more it'll happen every year, even when I'm not partaking in it. Like, I'll still partake in the behind the scenes and in the logistics of it with Tiltify, which I do now, and coordinate kind of like the charities and try and pick good charities and charities that make sense, and sort of like steer the ship still. But I don't know how many of the like on-screen efforts I can do every year, because again, it's a lot of energy to stand up there for 10 hours and kind of like be on, because I know it doesn't seem like it, and I know a lot of people say like, oh, lots of streamers do 10 hours, and yeah, they do, but this is like 10 hours of always being on, always being like ready. I have an earpiece in my ear that's telling me stuff all the time. Like at the end of certain segments, at the end of the sandwich segment, I had people in my ear being like, Sean, you gotta wrap it up, we're like running out of time, like our other guests need to be here. And then like Mark was on a big monologue and everything, and it's really fun. I'm really happy with that. It entertains the audience and drives donations, and that's what we're here for. But the whole time I'm being told like we need to wrap it up, and like people behind the scenes are like, and I'm like, okay, so it's like I couldn't even make that good a sandwich on it, because every time the camera wasn't on me, I had to be like in my ear being like, okay, what are you saying? Like, what's the information I need for like the segment going forward? And like hearing rules and hearing things that are happening, and like, oh, these donations are coming in, so you got to announce those, and blah, 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 blah. So that's happening all day for like the 10 hours. So my mind is kind of like split between trying to listen and like ask questions, and then listening to that and being like, okay, got it, information taken in. And anytime I wasn't like on camera, I was like, okay, what are you saying? Okay, and giving like the thumbs up so they could see it. So it's like a very well-oiled machine that people don't know. And we have like a monitor underneath. Like I have 2 monitors that I can see the stream as it's happening, which has like the feed that you guys are seeing. So you see like donations coming in, you see the total, you see the meals raised, it has the Santa going across the screen. It's exactly what you guys see. But I also have a confidence monitor, so like a smaller monitor underneath, like a teleprompter that they're just writing, like the guy who's in my ear is also writing, like ready for next guest in 10 minutes. And that's the kind of thing, because hearing it in my ear all the time gets confusing. So then I could be like, hey, thank you for the donation, like take a peek. Like we try and make it as fluid as possible, because you guys at home don't need to know all of that stuff. You don't need to know how it's put together or whatever. But I also like talking about the logistics of it. So there's a lot of that stuff. And it's hard to do that all the time. I mean, it's just one day out of the year, every year, but it's also very stressful, and I want things to go well, and I don't want to fuck things up. But it would be fun to like have co-hosts. It would be fun to have people take over entire segments. It would be fun to like still be a part of it, but doing it for as long as I do every year takes a lot out of you. Well, we try our best with it. I think this is the smoothest it's ever gone, and I'm very, very proud of it. And man, Corey with his fucking $400,000 donation. Absolutely mammoth, huge amount of money. Isn't it crazy that YouTube donate 100k, which, don't get me wrong, I am entirely blessed by and very, very grateful for. But then someone like Corey comes along and donates 4 times as much. I mean, I donated 300k of my own money to it. Mark donated 100k. Like just as much as YouTube. So I'm trying like every year to get YouTube more involved in it, but it's kind of hard to get them to like be more, to be like part of it. So my plan for next year is to kind of like have a bunch of meetings with YouTube people, their charity team, their marketing team, their whatever team, and like build an event with them. I don't know what that looks like right now, but hey, thanks for the subs. I really want to figure out a way of involving them more next year and building like a show with them, and I have a bunch of ideas to make it bigger and get people involved that way. And seeing us raise $10 million in a single stream, raising $10 million in 10 hours is, I think, if for like time versus money put in, it's $1 million an hour. I think it's one of the single biggest fundraisers ever on the platform, if not ever. Just thinking about the amount of money that comes in versus the amount of time that it was on screen. And it's not over. Like it started a bit before that. We had 100k before we started, and it's still going until the end of the year. But the bulk of that, like $10 million came in those 10 hours. I think it's one of the biggest fundraisers ever. Like, obviously other streams have gone on and done more money total in like the bigger span, but I just mean in like those 10 hours for the amount of money that was raised is absolutely insane. I don't think people realize just how incredible that is. And that's why it like hit me so emotionally at the end of it, is just to see that something that I was like, okay, I hope it goes well, and then knowing that the stream is kind of like coming to an end and that everything went so well and we passed $10 million, and that was like a goal I didn't think we were going to be able to do, and it passed last year's goal, which I thought was just a fluke and an absolutely impossible to do, and like all these emotions just burst out of me all at once, and it was like a big weight off my shoulders to be like, okay, we did it guys. And then I just couldn't hold it back anymore. I just turned into a big blubbering baby. So hopefully that enables us to kind of like go to more sponsors next year, more companies next year, to be like, hey, this is what we did last year. Here are our numbers. Companies love seeing numbers. They love seeing tangible things that they can get behind. If we say like, hey, Coca-Cola and Terramana donated $500K each last year, then other companies can come in and be like, hey, we can help out this year and give you more money. Because the more I can take the pressure off the audience to donate, the better. Companies have a lot of money. They always want to donate to charities. If I can get more companies involved, they have way more money to be able to donate than the audience. And I'm very happy that the audience were there and you guys did raise a ton of money on your own all together. It's very, very impressive and incredible to see, because a lot of communities on YouTube or Twitch or whatever try and raise money and can't do as much as you guys did, which I don't even know how. I guess it's because we do it all the time, and like this channel is kind of known for doing that every year, and this community is known for doing that every year, so we also want to like put in a group effort and try our best, and it's important to me, and I'm very grateful for it. But again, companies have a lot of fucking money, and if I can get some of that money from corporate donations to our stream, then I will. It takes a lot of effort off of you guys to raise money. A lot of people don't have a lot of money to go around as it is. If I can just like take that away from you guys and like pull it back to corporate donations, then I will. So that's kind of our plan, is to like make the profile of Thankimus bigger every year. This goes a long way towards helping that cause and helping kind of like making it a big deal. And that's where all the sort of like, hey, make Thankimus trend and that kind of stuff goes. Because you guys know, I'm not the greatest at typing up my own work, because I'm Irish. I don't like tooting my own horn too much, because I don't want to. Hey, thanks for the subs. I just want to be humble about the things that I'm doing, because it's like if the product's good, it'll prove itself. People will enjoy it. That's good. But in this industry, you kind of have to toot your own horn and kind of like ring your own bell and be like, hey, I did this thing. It was fucking awesome. Go me. Because it's a very crowded space and you want people to know what you're doing. But for charity work and for Thankmas especially, I will ring that bell all day, because if we can do that, it builds it up a lot. It gets more people involved in it. It makes more people aware of it. Then more companies get aware of it. YouTube see it. Everybody from the top level comes down and they want to help out with it next year. And whatever gets us more money for the charities that we're trying to raise money for, I'm gonna fucking fight my hardest for it. I'm gonna kick in their doors next year, fucking get on my hands and knees and like plead my case to be like, look, we're doing a good thing. I really am trying my best here to get your involvement. How do I do that? How do I suckle at the YouTube teat to get you to be more involved in this thing that's happening? So we'll see. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. And there's a lot of stuff that I could say to make things look worse, but I want to keep my relationships intact and make sure companies come back and help out, and just kind of like, I just want Thankmas to be like a really big thing. I want lots of money to go to a lot of good causes in the coming years, and I think we have a lot of potential to be able to do that. So whatever we can do for that. Oh, and I have some good ideas for Thankmas next year. I hope that we can pull them off. It's going to be huge. But yeah, Very, very proud of how that event went. It was so fun. Man, that Jack Black Giant Jenga segment is going to go down in my brain as one of the best things that I have ever done in my life. That was so fun. And it's one of those things that sometimes I meet like celebrities for interviews or whatever, and it's so like back and forth and it's so mechanical and it's just something you're doing all the time and you can tell that they're not really having that much fun. Hey, thanks for the subs. It's like, how do I make things fun for you? And we did like Giant Jenga because we're like, Jack Black is like a big, like he's like a big energy. He's animated. If you get him up out of his seat and have fun with him and don't just sit him down and talk to him, he can be very, very fun. He's like a big kid, and I love that. So we did that. The other game we were going to do that we didn't get to do was speed unwrapping. So it's going to be like, okay, have like 5 gifts for each other, see who can get through all 5 fastest, and like just tearing stuff up. And it's like a big, on screen, it's like a big fun chaotic energy. It's a lot of like sound and a lot of like tossing boxes around, and it's very fun. But I'm so happy we didn't do that. I'm so happy that we just stuck to the Jenga because it was so tense, it was so intense, it was so much fun to do, and didn't it seem like he was genuinely having fun? Everyone kept telling me that, and I'm like, I think so, but I also am biased because I want him to have fun and I want my event to go well, and I want to see what I want to see. But I think he genuinely had a really good time, and I think we genuinely clicked and had good energy together. And I mean, I'm just a huge Jack Black fan anyway, so I know his energy, and I think my strongest trait as a person is matching people's energy. I think that's why I'm put on this earth, is to match people's energy and have fun. If I was to put it in such a philosophical way. And I think I did match his energy well. I think we had a great time, but he seemed like he was having a really good time, and that's what was important to me. And it was so fucking fun. And he said that I could have Tenacious D tickets. Yeah, exactly. He said I could have free tickets, and then he said, not only are we going to go to the show, but we're going to go out for drinks afterwards. And I was like, dude, you're saying all the things to make me have the best day of my life. It was so fun. So very, very happy with how that went. I mean, all the other segments went good too. But I always have faith in my fellow creators to like bring the energy, because they're so... I mean, we live in a different kind of space. Like, we know what it's like to be on stream and do everything. Not to take away from their efforts, because they really did a great job. Like, Mark and Aaron for the sandwich segment was so fun. They always know how to like turn it on at a moment's notice and like go ham and like ham it up for the cameras. And they're both like good physical sort of like comedy people as well, and improvers. So very grateful for them. Bella and Ray. I felt bad because we ran out of time for the segment with them to be like, oh, unwrap your gifts. All that was in the gift, by the way, was that it said, Happy Thankmas, everyone. There was just a card on the inside, and that was the gag. They like went through all the boxes, and it was just a card saying, Happy Thankmas. Well, we ran out of time for the segment. Like, other guests needed to come on. We needed to have lunch. Or like people needed food breaks and everything. Like, there was a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I was being told in my ear and on the monitor and everything, like, wrap it up. But it turned out funny anyway that we cut as they were still opening boxes, kind of, because it kind of gives that energy of like, some say they're still opening those boxes, and I like that. Hey, thanks for Maki, thanks for the subs. But I hope they had fun. Their segment was the one that I was like, we didn't have as much planned. Because Pokemon was supposed to come on for that segment as well, so there was supposed to be more people. It was supposed to, we had another thing planned, I forget what it was, but we had to kind of like shift, because Pokey got sick before it happened, unfortunately, so she couldn't come, which is completely understandable. She still donated 10k, which is so nice of her to do, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful that she even agreed in the first place to come on, even if she couldn't make it. But their segment, then I was like, I hope you guys had fun. There's blood on your chin. Yeah, I scratched a spot under my beard. We're just gonna have to live with it. I didn't even know it was there. But I think it was fun regardless. But it was also like leading to lunch and everything. I'm like, oh man, I'm hungry. But I think it was fun. We got a good moment out of it being like, Luna uploaded it on the Clips channel as well. Like Jacksepticeye destroys Valkyrie's career. It's like throwing the rings. I was like, I guarantee you I'll do it first try. Does it first try, walks away. What a chat. Like, that's fun. And I'd never met Bella Porch either, and she was very sweet. It's just that thing that people come on your, I mean, even Aaron had it, where they come on your stream, it's for charity. People are like, I'm here to like service your needs. Like, what do you need from me to bring the energy for the stream? Like, what game are we playing? They just want to answer questions. Like, people don't want to step on your toes, because it's like, I would do the same thing. If I was brought on someone's charity stream, I would do the exact same thing. It's like, I want to do well, so like, just guide me. What do you want me to do? And you don't want to like step on any toes. You don't want to say something you're probably not supposed to. And that's why with Mark, it was like, shove a sandwich up your ass. And I'm like, that's the bar for comedy, by the way. You're allowed to swear. You're allowed to make jokes. And even Aaron was like, am I allowed to swear? Because people don't know. So a lot of people kind of like get a bit timid and shy, and it's like your thing. So they're like, I'm just here to have fun. What do we do? And again, I'd never met Bella before. So there's like that sort of, not intimidation factor, but it's just like a little bit of nerves. But they were fun to have on. Oh man, and Connor I click with immediately. I remember meeting him for the Trash Taste episode that I was on, and me and him just got on like a house on fire immediately. I think because like both of us are from the same region of the world. I mean, so is Garrett, but Welsh people and Irish people and Scottish people have very similar sensibilities. That sort of like primordial Gaelic, Celtic brethren kind of thing. And me and him just get along really, really, really well. And I was so happy for him to be there. And he's such a sweetheart. He thanked me like 12 million times afterwards. He came out to dinner with us afterwards, and he was just so thankful and grateful. And he has a hard time filling his own shoes now, because he's like, man, you guys are all the big guys, and I'm just so happy to be here. And I'm like, dude, you are a big deal. Like, live in your own skin a little. Like, have fun, enjoy where you are. You're a big deal. Like hype yourself up. But I had the exact same thing years ago when I was like starting off and up and coming, and my career was starting to explode. I had a hard time like building myself up. So he's very humble. He's very sweet. He knows exactly how to turn it on. There's not a dull moment. He asks questions. He's just in the moment. I told him afterwards to his face as well. I was like, you're a fucking natural gift at this sort of stuff. Like, you get in, you know what's needed of you. There's no awkwardness. There's no gaps. You know how to fill a silence. You fucking keep the train rolling. You're a natural born entertainer. So I hope he knows that. And I'm so glad. I want to do so many more things with him next year. What an absolute sweetheart. Fucking love him. He gets along well with everybody, and he's like, I don't know why everyone's so nice to me. And I'm like, dude, everyone's nice to you because you're so nice to be around. You make everyone happier whenever you're around. Like, you just get along with them. You're so nice to everybody. You say nice things to people. You just have a good energy. You say a lot of jokes. You don't step on anyone's toes. You know people's boundaries. Like, it's a skill. He doesn't realize how good he is at it. And that's why he like attracts nice people to him. But yeah, next year I want to hang out with him more. Maybe I can get him to come back to the UK and I can go to Japan. Next year I want to do a lot more stuff with more people. I have a personal assistant now, which, I mean, I guess you guys wouldn't know, but for years people have been telling me to get a personal assistant because I have so many things going on, and to kind of like lighten the load. And everybody else I know has an assistant. Like Ethan has one, Mark has one, Aaron has one. And they're always like singing the praises, being like, no, do it. Like, it takes a lot of pressure off you, a lot of stress. But I don't have enough for an assistant to do. His name's Anthony, by the way. Anthony with no H. So if you ever hear me bring up Anthony again, it'll be because of that. But we're still kind of like learning the ropes. Like, what do I have for you to do? Because I feel so bad. I don't have a whole lot for him to do yet. But he's like on calls, he's like taking down notes, he's like learning how the sort of business operates for now. And we also have like Cloak on top of the morning and everything. So it's like trying to figure out what to do. But I think next year when I have so many more things to do, like we're rebranding Top of the Morning. I've mentioned it before as well. We're not changing anything on a fundamental level. I know people hear that and they'll see like a different bag or whatever and think like, oh, the coffee changed. No, all of that is the exact same. The coffee's the same. Where we get it is the same. How we source it, operate, make it, just like the cups, all that stuff is all the same. The tea. The only thing that'll change is that like we're adding flavors and maybe shuffling stuff around. But all the ones that are there are going to be the same. But we are changing like the bags. We're changing how things look. We're changing sort of the branding around it. Because a big reason why the company is the way it is now is because making something that you want to be taken seriously is a big deal. And I didn't want to make coffee and like slap Jacksepticeye all over it and have it look so much like, oh, a brand that a YouTuber would make and then not have it taken seriously, because it's a high grade coffee. It is a very good coffee. It's like the coffee that all the big guys would use, but people wouldn't take it seriously if it's a YouTuber. So it's like a little nod to me with Top of the Morning, and it's just such a good name anyway. And I'll use my face to promote it, but it's not like Jacksepticeye's coffee. I didn't want to promote it that way. And then the branding and everything, it blends in with higher grade coffee. When you look at it, you think that it's high grade. So now that we've proven that the coffee is good and it's amazing, it's like, okay, now we know who our audience are. We know who we're selling to. We know our sort of like core message. We know who I am, what we want to get out of the company, that kind of stuff. So we're like making the coffee way more cohesive, making the branding and the messaging behind it way more cohesive, and making it just way more fun. And oh man, I cannot wait to show you guys how it looks and what it means and what we've done to it. And it's going to be really, really cool. And it's also kind of like, I don't know, the coffee industry is also pretty pretentious and snobby sometimes, with like how they taste stuff, and like it's fine. It's fine to like taste stuff and be like, yeah, the notes in this and whatever. And I love that. I love the world of coffee. I love how intense it can be, but I also feel like there's an intimidation factor to it. Like people trying to get into high grade coffee is kind of scary because they feel like scared off from it. That like there's so many machines and ways of making it, and you're supposed to know the notes. It's kind of like red wine. And I'm like, no, you can make a really good cup of coffee. And if even if people don't know all of that stuff, like our coffee is kind of like the gateway into that. It's really, really good coffee. We can make it convenient for you to make, and I'll kind of like teach you how to make good coffee and kind of like bring you into that world without any of that sort of like, hold on, no, you need like this machine, you need to make it this way, you need to blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? I feel like you can make really, really good coffee, but have a ton of fun with it at the same time. And I think that that's sort of where we've landed with Top of the Morning. And I'm very excited to kind of like put it out there and show people what we've been up to. I think it looks cool. I think people will be very excited about it. And I have tons of ideas for what to do next year with that. But also, I have tons of ideas for like videos and collabs and stuff that I want to do too. And Cloak! Oh, today! It should be out now, actually. If you go to cloakbrand.com, there is the Tactical Frost clothing is out. But hold on for a second. I need to go pee, but I'll be back and talk a little bit about it and show you some of the products. Hold on. Just wait for me. Look! Look how cool! Look! It's epic! Oh yeah. You guys might have seen me wear this in a video already. It comes in black as well. I've worn both of them. So it's kind of like a... It's kind of like a wintry sort of... I helped design these ones, by the way. And I'm very proud of them. Because we've done tactical before and people were so responsive to tactical and I'm like, yeah, that's what I want Cloak to be, is that kind of stuff. And as the one and only CEO of Cloak, I get to make all the decisions now. I mean, I guess I should say, tell you guys that there was some like shake-up in management at Cloak. And now I'm the CEO. Mark's still there. But he's more on like the stamping and pressing part of the company now. So like I'll make designs, they'll go through my genius brain, and then they'll come back out, and I'll give them to the team. They make them, and then they like go down a line, and Mark like it's basically like a Cloak stamp. But I mean, we wanted him to do something at the company. I couldn't like kick him out. So it's like a stamp that like all the clothes go by, and like he gets it right like 80% of the time. Like he makes a few mistakes here and there, but he gets it right most of the time. Like 70% of the time it's there. And even though he's trying his best and 60% of the time he gets it right, stuff still comes out good. So this is from like my genius brain. And I'm very proud of it. It kind of reminds me of like a winter, like hunting, sort of like outdoorsy kind of thing. It's very comfy, very high quality, and very warm. So for winter, I wanted to do that. Because again, like tactical was from me. And it was a very smart drop and everyone loved it. And I was like, yeah, Cloak is me now. So I am making some great decisions. And then these ones are like the pants. These are extremely comfy. I wore these on the plane to and from LA, and it was so fucking comfy, because I'll tell you what, England is freezing right now. And then we got to LA and I'm like, why is it not warm here either? So these bad boys came in so handy. They're like fleecy, soft material. They're very, extremely comfortable. I'm very proud of it. And then like a zippy as well, kind of like in the same vein. Very cool. I like these sort of like tactical pockets. Boom, tactical. Boom, so tactical. You are, oh, where's my chewing gum? Boom, tactical pocket. You got it, baby. Just pockets and everything. Boom, 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 boom. Pockets, 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 pockets. That's what I want. That's what I want tactical to be. Tactical pockets, tactical chewing gum, tactical lip balm, tactical running. You know? It's all about being tactical this winter. Cloakbrand.com. Jacksepticeye CEO. Also got some very exciting designs in the works for next year as well. There's going to be some shakeups. There's going to be some changes at Cloak. There's going to be higher quality, better ideas, me, bigger brain. It's all very exciting. There's going to be pie charts. There's going to be PowerPoints. It's going to be cool. Better ingredients. Cloak is like a big recipe for fun. Sometimes you get some stinky parts of that recipe, you have to get them out. will market a promotion. He did. He got promoted to stamper. That's big for him. You have to put the stamp in the ink and then on a product. That's twice as much work as before. What is a hostile takeover? No. I told you I'm a lover, not a fighter. I lovingly told him that he doesn't do what he did before. Anyway, Cloak is cool, and you should go to the website. Lots of things happening. Cloak drop, tactical. Yeah, tactical takeover. Exactly. The cloak drop, Sonic Prime, a big voice role. I have a U2's coming out. That's Bloodborne. Bloodborne X Jacksepticeye. Hello. We did Thankmas. I'm Jack Black's best friend now. My name wasn't at the door at the chess boxing event. Big things are happening for me, guys. I'm a big deal. Try to keep up. Maybe next year we'll do like Iris 2, Electric Boogaloo. Where's My Kids, you know? A spin-off. Instead of, Dude, Where's My Car? It's like, Dude, Where's My Kids? Or... What else? What other titles fit that? We'll workshop it. We'll workshop it. Since you're in charge, bring in some Unus Honest merch. Exactly because I'm in charge, there will be 0 Unus Honest merch. I said 0. It's Latin. You have Honus, Unus, 0. That's how the numerical system works in Latin. There will be no Unus Honest merch. 0 of it. But there will be high quality, high energy, big brain, massive quality ideas. Don't even worry about it. Leave the big picture to me. You can have small picture. A coloring book. Yeah, Unus Honest is dead anyway. Never coming back. Dead forever. Accept it. Those of you still mentioning it and not accepting it completely missed the point of the whole fucking channel. Didn't you get the memo? It's gone. I do have another thing that I don't know when it'll get announced. They're still workshopping it, but there is a very fun one that I'm doing next year that I hope I get to announce soon, because I know, I'm doing that YouTuber thing as well, where it's like, oh, cool, you're mentioning the thing, and it's soon TM, and we don't know anything about it, and you can't tell us. Completely irrelevant to the other parts you've been talking about, because now people are going to be like, he just talked about Unus Honest, and then said a big thing. No, it has nothing got to do with that. It's just another thing that I have to announce that I'm very, very excited for. Matthew Lillard and Josh Hutcherson have been cast in Blumhouse's Five Nights at Freddy's film. What? I'm sure that film will come out and everyone will love it and it won't be terrible. There's no way! That is cool though. I like Matthew Lillard. A FNAF film? Yeah, they've been working on it for what? 5 years now? How long has it been? When did they announce it? It was after some FNAF game. They announced the movie was being made, and it's changed. That's how you know it's going to be good, is that it changed people a lot. And that's something that the concept is already made for you, and you're trying to put it into movie format, and yet it's taking this long. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm sure the script wasn't terrible, and that's why it's taking forever to come out. Not at all. I mean, it does take a long time to make stuff, especially when the pandemic happened, but I feel like we've just been hearing about Five Nights at Freddy's movie for so long that, yeah, I'll be hopefully optimistic. Has there ever been a good video game movie ever? Somebody didn't hear of a little movie called Free Guy, starring your one and only CEO of Cloak and top of the morning magnate, coffee mogul and entrepreneur, Jacksepticeye. The face and smell of Free Guy, the one and only video game movie brought to you in theaters 2 years after its initial release date. Somebody's a little behind. There was also a little movie called Sonic the Hedgehog, with the follow-up sequel and also awesome movie Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Here We Go Knuckles. How dare you. Hopeful for The Last of Us? Me too. I hope it's good. I like The Last of Us and its story, so I really hope that they pull it off. Free Guy starring Jacksepticeye featuring Ryan Reynolds. I mean, my face was just all over the posters. I don't know if that movie would have made it without me. I think it really needed my talent to pull it through. Anyway, that's all the news I have. What else didn't I talk about? What else happened today? How do you feel about the Mario movie? I kept watching the trailers and felt like it was not gonna be good. And I was like, not even for like the voices or anything, it was just like the sense of humor they were going for. I was like, well, it's a kids movie. Which, yeah, kids love Mario, and that's fine. I felt like I wasn't the demographic for it, and everyone I've talked to, they're like, it looks fucking awesome. What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, okay. Whoops. It is gorgeous, though. For the aesthetics and the animation and everything, they feel like they've nailed it. That one I actually am kind of cautiously optimistic about. I think that one's actually going to be decent. Yeah, Jack Black's going to chew up the scenery in it. He's going to be the best part of the whole movie. Across the Spider-Verse? Oh yeah, that trailer came out as well. That looks cool. You know what, gang? I'm getting pretty hungry. I think it might be time to end the stream. I think it might be time to leave all your stinky brains behind. Use my massive Superman brain to go do cool, awesome things. You know, like, Evelyn, get sued, please. I'm coming back! Don't you worry! I'll be out there in 2 shakes of a penis! I'm gonna go have fun with my loving girlfriend now. And eat nice food and play video games. What are you gonna do? Hopefully something good. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I really do. I'm also gonna try and fight jet lag, but this stream has been great. I don't feel as tired as I did at the start of it, so thank you. You all perked me up. Appreciate you. Thanks so much. We'll be back again sometime in a blue moon, maybe 5 years from now to do another stream. I'll be back in 5 years to do my annual stream. Until then, I'm gonna have to love you and leave you my babies. Bye bye. Have fun. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good. Bye. Bye.